house. I'm in a huddle talking to the Hawks. We gonna run it down their throat soon as we get the ball. Come out and fire off the ball, we going on one. My skill position so proficient, break for long runs. Come out running that option, that mean I got the option to keep that or pitch that. Defense, they gotta fix that. 4 receivers, we spread them out in the shotgun. Hot reads, I got some. My tight end so awesome. Touchdowns, I toss some. We score 6, scoreboard, that score 6. Respect the ball, we protect the ball. We don't fumble, no throw picks. I feed my linemen pancakes, so all they blocks are pancakes. Push you around like all night. End of the game, get your handshakes, huh? My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, win, we just came to win. Win, win, we just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win, win, we just came to win. Win, win, we must protect this house.
And good morning and welcome to Campers Inn Saturday Sports Talk of Kings Mountain. We're in Cherryville, though. It's raining and cold outside, and everybody's straggling in one at a time here. We got it going and up and ready, guys. We're ready to rock. Saturday morning sports talk, like I said, brought to you by Campers Inn of Kings Mountain. Where's that at? It's out there right off the 85 exit, out there behind the McDonald's and over there near the hotels and stuff. That gives you kind of an idea. Right off the 85 exit. Get over there today, Campers Inn and RV. Over in Kings Mountain. Now, we're working on breakfast. We're going to get to more about that here in a little bit. I know you guys want to score. Terry, let's give the scores to the folks last night. We had 1A, 2A, and 3A playoffs here locally in our area. Plus, we had playoffs across the state as well. But we're going to give you guys, we feature these 1A, 2A, and 3A Western Conference teams, and then we're going to talk our top 20 as it's starting to narrow down now. All right, Terry, you guys start with the scores, and we'll go from there.
All righty, in the 1A bracket, it was Thomas Jefferson 34, Bishop McGinnis 3. Next up for Thomas Jefferson will be Robbinsville coming to town with a 48-28 win over Elkin. And also in the 1A bracket, it was Murphy 55, Allegheny 7. Next up for Murphy, they will be going to Mitchell County, a 21-13 win over Cherokee. In the 1AA bracket, it was Mount Airy 50, Swain County 20. Next up for Mount Airy will be East Surrey, a 62-22 win over Bessemer City. East Surrey coming back for the final game of the year. They played for the conference championship, so East Surrey getting to go back to Mount Airy to play in the playoffs. Good rematch there. Former coach Trent Lohman is coaching over at East Surrey now.
Yes, he is.
In the 1AA bracket, it was Polk County 13, North Rowan 7. Next up for Polk County will be a trip over to Starmount, a 55-19 win over Community School of Davison. In the 2A bracket, it was Brevard defeating number 1 ranked Randleman 21-13. Next up for Brevard will be a trip to Wheatmore, a 48-19 win over West Stanley. Also in the 2A bracket, it was Mountain Heritage 56, Hendersonville 34. Next up for Mountain Heritage will be a trip to Reedsville, a 41-6 win over East Rutherford. In the 2AA bracket, it was North Lincoln 38, East Lincoln 13. North Lincoln now will make a trip up to Shelby next week. Shelby defeated Ashe County 45-26.
I'll tell you what. Shelby is a very dangerous team right now come playoff time. I think they're starting to hit on all cylinders.
They're playing very well.
Yep.
I will agree with that. Also in the 2AA bracket, it was Bandy's running their home record in playoffs to 22-4 all time with a 51-14 win over West Oaks. Next up for Bandy's will be a trip to High Brighton. High Brighton, a 28-20 win over South Point, and you talk about home streaks and win streaks. High Brighton 26-7 all time in the playoffs at home. 3A.
Yeah, we'll do the 3A. Northwest Cabarrus, number 1 seed, over Tuscola, all over Tuscola, 41-8. But Northwest Cabarrus next Friday will be hosting Kings Mountain. Kings Mountain over Statesville, 35-21. I was at that game last night. We'll get into that a little bit later. 3A, another game that was of interest. Charlotte Catholic 42, Monroe 0. Charlotte Catholic will now go and play against Hunter Huss, who beat Crest 35-0. Then we have Watauga in the 3AA, 49-26 over Parkland. Watauga will then take on Weddington, who beat South Iredell 33-6.
Watauga trailed last night 14-0 early to Parkland.
Well, that was a huge flip-flop, wasn't it? And then we have Mount Tabor.
Tabor.
Mount Tabor. They had something scribbled out on the side of it. I thought that they maybe had messed up. Okay. Mount Tabor, yeah. Mount Tabor over Irwin, 49-28. Mount Tabor will take on AC Reynolds, who beat the Sun Valley team 22-14.
And Sun Valley, Larry Fedora made a helicopter trip down there to look at the Sun Valley quarterback.
I'm glad he gets to tour the state of North Carolina while he's got this temporary job of his.
I agree 110%. I agree 110%.
The state of North Carolina, it's awful nice of us taxpayers to pay for the football coach.
I don't know why he's going around looking for these quarterbacks. I thought he had Kelly Bryant in the bag.
Well, who wants to? I mean, why would you want to play quarterback in North Carolina right now? I mean, you don't know what the design of the offense is going to be and who's going to start and what they're going to do. Yeah, coach, I'll come play for you. You never decide on who who your quarterback's going to be. I can't.
Hey, he's probably saying, I mean, Kelly,
that'd be awesome.
Kelly, we'd love to have you come and play for us. You might get 2 quarters a game.
Speaking of that, Hunter, we're going to get to that in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
And talk about how Terry's all decked out in his rebel red today and state red today.
Yeah.
It's going to be awful upset when they get beat by the Tar Heels today.
Yeah, there's always that opportunity that we all have to hit the field and play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, so let's talk about folks, let's get you set up for next week's matchups going into round 3, where everybody will be, where we'll all be. Mm-hmm. In the 1As, we'll have number 4 Robbinsville at number 1 Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson's undefeated. They are number 6 in our power poll. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And they are moving on up, as you might say. Number 3 Murphy is at Mitchell. Number 2 Mitchell. So those teams, winner of those games will face off each other. Thomas Jefferson's got that number 1 overall seed. So you got to go through Rutherford County to win the 1A West this year, Terry. Does it look good for Thomas Jefferson moving forward, do you think?
Well, I mean, when you have to come up there and play, I mean, these guys are used to playing on their home field. I mean, and what a year they've had. Mm-hmm. Robbinsville's coming down. Hey, Robbinsville probably leads the state in total state championships overall.
Yeah.
From the 1A way back in the 70s and 60s and 80s, but
that was way before Thomas Jefferson was born, wasn't it?
Well, it was. So, new kid on the block, they're coming up here to play them. That's how I put it like that.
Think about that.
I know. I was about to say, the way you worded it, I'm like,
the school, folks.
I was we got to put that the school, not the real Thomas Jefferson.
So that sets up then in the 1AA, folks, as we look at that. East Surrey, who won big last night, again put 62 on a pretty decent Bessemer defense. East Surrey, the 4 seed, though, they'll be going to 1 the Mount Airy. And
rematch of the conference championship.
Okay.
There, East Surrey defeated. I mean, not East Surrey.
Obviously, Mount Airy won that.
Yeah, Mount Airy won that game, 31-28.
Oh, so we got a good battle here for the rematch of the conference.
I'll say this. Congratulations for all the success you've had. First year coach at East Surrey. Well, not first year coach, but his first year there. My old coach at for my bandies teams when I was there. Trent Lemon.
They let the soccer coach over there now.
Look, I know I played soccer, but he still, whenever I would have gym, I'd still. You
I
still
can't
had to call him
believe
coach.
he's Surrey
You still
hired
had
the
to call
soccer
him
coach. Coach
That's
football.
No, he was the
playing,
bandies football coach. Let's not get it twisted. We still had to call him coach, even if we weren't on the football team.
Al Bundy didn't get 3 touchdowns last night, but it didn't matter. Polk County wins 13-7 over North Rowan. The Wolverines will now go to Starmount and face the Blue Lions on the field.
That would be tough.
The field markers are blue on that white. You know how the grass is white and stuff now?
Oh.
Looks good. I'll give them a lot of credit. Whoever did the field did a great job painting. Look it up on Twitter if you hadn't seen it. Pretty nice. I think we might have retweeted. I don't know. If you do want to follow on Twitter, we're on KTC Broadcasting, #KTC Scores, as always. Watch us on YouTube. For a wave at our folks, I think this is my camera. The one pointing should be the one directly at you guys. Is yours. You guys, and we always promise that when you do turn it on, we do have, all of us do have a face for radio. So please, no complaints on that, right? Or
well, yeah, all of us that are here.
yeah, that are here. What's this guy in the Appalachian helmet doing over here? Nothing. Who's he talking to?
I can't get him to say anything.
He's been awfully quiet.
Folks, we might have a special guest, Carson Doctor, today. He's scheduled for his usual 8:30 appearance.
Yeah, I think we might can get an exclusive interview.
Duke loss. And look what happened.
Hey, Terry.
That's exactly right.
Last night, Crest getting beat 35-0. Will Boykins don't show up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we can't even get them to come and even... face
what's so crazy?
facts.
What did he party too hard after that 35-0 win?
I guess. Well, you know what else it was, and I'll let him tell the story. It was his mother's birthday last night. So I want to say happy birthday to her.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They had a rocking good time according to Carson, I would imagine. So anyway, we'll talk about that matchup in just a second. In the 2A, we've got Brevard. They won 21-13 over Randleman. And they'll be going to Wheatmore, Terry, 48-19 over West Stanley. Wheatmore going to win this one, or Brevard just knocks off the number 1 seed? Are they a for real team, or is this a random one of these these seeding things?
No, I wouldn't say that. Not in the 1A. I mean, it's kind of hard to dispatch when I get to the 1A of who's the best team down there and who's not, and who have you played.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot to look at. Randleman 13 was 12-0. And Brevard beats them. Brevard, traditionally, in the playoffs, is a team that's always there, and you have to be ready to play them, and Randleman was not. But now they go play a Wheatmore team that is 12-1 on the year, and, Wheatmore here lately have been pounding a lot of people and beating them by a good amount of points, so we'll see what happens.
All right, so then that sets up a Mountain Heritage at Reedsville matchup. And Mountain Heritage puts 56 on Hendersonville. They give up a lot of points anyway. So is this a Reedsville favorite game, Terry? After Reedsville beats East Rutherford last night, 41-6. Holding East Rutherford to 6, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. And when you speak of Reedsville, they always talk about their defense, and we mentioned it last night. They're like 44-1 over the last 3 years. The only loss was to Wallace Rose Hill in the state championship in overtime last year, 35-28. But, when you speak of them, you speak of all their banners they have on outside of their stadium as you're coming in. I mean, it's kind of intimidating for you to have to go there if you've never been there. Mountain Heritage, hey, back in the late 2000s, 2007 up through 2012, something like that, pretty traditional heavyweight football team, was a hard team to beat. But I think this is going to be a good wake-up call for them. And if Mountain Heritage can score 12, I'll give them a lot of credit.
They just scored 56.
Yeah. If they can score 12.
In the third round of the playoffs, so Terry's telling us about to get real for Mountain Heritage. And the 2 AA's sets up a big matchup next week on KTCBroadcasting.com. The South Fork 2A. It's about to get real over there, Hunter, for the for the South Fork 2A. We talked last night. This is their chance to prove their worth this year.
Yes, it is.
We've got North Lincoln at Shelby and Bandy's at High Brighton, and that's about. You got the 2 biggest names basically in the 2A versus these 2 upstarts that nobody picked to win these conferences. Ended up doing great in the conference.
Yeah, you have household names in Shelby. Obviously, like I told Terry when he was reading off the scores, Shelby is hitting on all cylinders right now. And I know that they're just a 4 seed. Well, that's a dangerous 4 seed. That is a dangerous 4 seed. I know, and we all know what High Brighton is. They've been so successful the past few years. Nothing's really changed. They're still clicking as well. But like you said, the 2, I guess you can say, new guys on the block. North Lincoln, obviously, even though they're an 8 seed, And like I said about Shelby, now that's a dangerous 8 seed in North Lincoln going to Shelby. That'll be a really good matchup. I'm excited to see how North Lincoln's defense does against Shelby. I think that's going to be something that you really need to watch out for. Now with Bandy's going to High Brighton, of course. Now I was there with Bandy's versus North Lincoln. Both of these teams that it's just triple option, and Bandy's has big Ethan Howard back there. Now he's a big boy, but the reason why I'm kind of a little iffy on if Bandy's can go into High Brighton. I think High Brighton is a little bit more balanced than Bandy's is on offense, and I wouldn't be surprised if High Brighton can key in on. Well, I'll be honest, a lot of teams have tried to key in on Ethan Howard and just haven't been able to stop him, but I think High Brighton, they might be able to do it.
High Brighton's got a lot of quickness, and we spoke of this yesterday. I mean, if it's playing at Bandy's, and it's amazing how a 1-point loss can hurt where you're seated. Yeah. But that 1-point loss to Hickory makes Bandy's have to go to High Brighton. Now, Bandy's is 22-4 at home in the playoffs. They're 14-19 away. So, and when you're having to go to High Brighton, who is 26-7 all time at home, that makes a lot of difference.
Let me give her some better news to make you feel better about this. South Point last night runs pretty much kind of the same offense you guys do. Yeah. You guys might have the tougher guy to tackle, you could say. Yeah. South Point only got beat by a touchdown. They had 3 turnovers.
Right. Yeah.
3 turnovers.
And they were down 28 to nothing.
They were down 28 to nothing.
Yeah, and Bandy's really doesn't turn the ball over either.
Right. The biggest thing for when you've had to play High Brighton, they don't have one back. Witherspoon has made a name for himself, McKinney Witherspoon. But then the Jones kid that's in the backfield with him is also a 100-yard rusher. So you got 2 guys back there to contend with.
I think both of those games are going to be something to really pay attention to. But especially, of course, I'll be biased if I say Bandy's High Brighton, but I'm not going to say that. I think the North Lincoln Shelby game is going to be very intriguing.
It's not going to surprise me if Bandy's wins at all. North Lincoln, if they win the turnover battle, will have a shot to win, is what I'm going to say. So be careful, Shelby.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, Nick Basil always seems to figure out something.
Yeah.
Especially defensive-wise. And now, and we spoke of this last night, at the start of the year, he is struggling with offense. I mean, they beat West Lincoln 7-6 in a couple close games. But here towards the end, their offense is starting to score points.
Oh,
yeah, they've been scoring in the 30s, it seems like, every game now. All right, let's move on. We got one more matchup in the 3A, then we got to take a break. Some of the other matchups, we got, let's see, Mount Tabor will be at AC Reynolds. We'll also have Weddington at Watauga. Charlotte Catholic coming into Hunter Huss, Terry. I think that Huss is the team to beat. The defense is outstanding, and I think if they don't look at those, if they don't listen to that name of Charlotte Catholic, I think Huss is gonna. I'm not gonna be surprised they put a whooping on them on them too, Terry. But I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I'm about the same way. If they was playing at Charlotte Catholic, I'd say maybe. But Charlotte Catholic having to go to Hunter Huss, I mean, it's still a great team. They're always there. They're year in and year out. But them having to come to Hunter Huss, that might be a little edge for these guys playing at home.
All right, that sets up Hunter's matchup next week in Cabarrus County as Kings Mountain goes to Northwest Cabarrus. And last night, Hunter, our keys to going into that game for Kings Mountain, Statesville has a really good defense.
Very.
Huss is Kings Mountain's the only team this year to put more than 20 on Huss.
Yeah.
So the offense, tell us how it looked real quick. I know we're way up against the break, but tell us how it looked real quick last night.
I'll be quick about it.
And the other teams, and we were kind of featuring. It starts getting 30 degrees and 20 degrees, and it's raining. How about these other teams wanting to wrap up on Raquel and Mack out there?
That's going to be difficult for them to do. Also, just a quick shout-out to Dr. Lassiter, principal there at Statesville. I enjoyed talking to him. I'm glad you were able to get that set up. I enjoyed talking to him. Very smart guy. Used to coach some football. Very smart guy. Just because Kings Mountain won by 2 touchdowns, the game was a lot closer than it really seems. Statesville actually outgained Kings Mountain offensively. They had over 300 yards. I also just want to shout out to their young quarterback who's only a sophomore, already getting Power 5 looks. Nabanye Moore finished with 212 passing yards. The kid's left-handed and has got a cannon, so people watch out for that name. Offensively for Kings Mountain, they did a lot. but they could not run the ball between the tackles at all. Like you said, credit to Statesville's stout defense. Most of it was Kalen Wade keeping the ball and getting the edge on if it was rushing.
Right.
Other than that, Kobe, the name that they told me they were going to key in on due to watching tape was Kobe Pacehour and Kalen Wade. And Kobe Pacehour had a heck of a day. He had a heck of a day. Kid finished with 110 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. And the only reason why it did not finish 28-21, it was because within their red zone, unfortunately, the Moore kid threw a 99-yard interception returned by Kobe Pacehour. Pacehour went up in the end zone, grabbed it one-handed, and just used the speed that everybody has seen. I mean, I'll tell you, the kid is a talent.
Was that the play of the year on your end? Have you seen a better play?
Last night, when we had to decide what our play of the game, defensive player of the game, and all that stuff, Kobe Pacehour could have taken 3 of those spots. He could have taken player of the game, play of the game, and defensive play of the game. We were going to give offensive MVP to Kalen Wade just because, I mean, the ball touched his hands every down, and he got the ball to the playmaker.
Andre tries to tell me the MVP is the center because he touches the ball.
I mean, you're right. He does, but the quarterback does as well.
That's what a lineman would say, isn't it?
Yeah, but I will say this.
They can run the Wildcat, and he might not touch the ball.
Yeah, and I will say, but like you said, could it be play of the year for them? I think it definitely could be play of the year for them because if Statesville scores on that drive, that's a huge momentum shifter.
Right.
Huge momentum shifter. Who knows how it would have went from there? But I think after that pick, it just took the life right out of Statesville. It took the life right out. But I will also say this. There was a line judge out there. We can say this. We're not going to get fined. There was a line judge out there who I swear that was his first game. Had to have been his first game.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
You got to start. Yes, you do have to start somewhere. I looked at the principal and I said, "I'm so sorry for what y'all are dealing with right now." But what was also pretty bad, half of the stadium lights went out during the fourth quarter. It was like 5 minutes left, so like the
janitor was tired of watching that crap.
The back right end.
Time for y'all to go.
The back right end was like pitch dark, and they were just like, it's starting to freezing rain right now. Let's just get this game over with. So they just kept playing, and it got a little bit nasty just because, I mean, it got so slick on the field. But congratulations to Kings Mountain, but also congratulations to Statesville. This is what's so crazy. That Statesville team's going to continue to be good. They only have 11 seniors.
Yeah, Randall Gustler, former coach at West Lincoln, is still over there coaching, and he picked up his 100th win this year.
All right, folks, we're pressed up. Webb gets a break. We've got Tiger versus Field to talk about. We've got NASCAR championship. We got NBA drama. It's like watching as the world turns in the NBA more than actual basketball.
That's just because it's still November.
We've got Cowboys and Redskins. Ain't that right, Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about that? We'll talk about the rest of the NFL, NCAA football picks to make, and then after the show in overtime, I think what we're going to do is let Carson do a 15-minute soliloquy, where he just sits here and does a one-man band. What about that? We're going to sit here and eat biscuits.
He's got to show up first.
We're about to put his avatar up in the corner again, like we did a couple weeks ago. It's getting close to that. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll be back in a minute. We're going to do NCAA picks and more in just a few minutes. KDCBroadcasting.com.
Register to win $1,000 in Christmas cash. It will be given away Monday, December 24th at 8 a.m. on The Boss in Carolina Country. Register today with no obligation to buy at Ferguson's Ace Hardware, Highway 150 East in Cherryville, at Miss Janice's Daycare on the Hepzibah Church Road in Krause, at Dallas Express Pharmacy on Hoffman Street in Dallas, at Majestic Nails, Highway 16 in Denver, at Wright's Jewelry Store on Highway 18 North in Falston, at Amity Finance on East Ozark Avenue in Gastonia, at Flooring America on Slater Street in Kings Mountain, at Abernathy Chrysler Jeep Dodge on East Main Street in Lincolnton, at Hometown Hardware in downtown Kings Mountain, at Full Throttle Power Sports on Indian Walk in Lowell, at Affinity Salon on West Warren Street in Shelby, at Mitchum's Kitchen on Highway 27 West in Vale, and at Drums Floral Designs on North Academy Street in Lincolnton. Register and win the $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway today. Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to help make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Renato Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army kettle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Renato Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Renato Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall. When you shop our local advertisers, be sure to tell them you heard it on the radio. That way they'll know that their radio dollars they spend works for them and you too. Even in today's fast-moving world, radio remains the leading media to reach more people. 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio over the air. TV viewership is 89%, smartphone use is 83%, and personal computer use is 50%. So if you're a business owner, reach more people with the power of radio. If you don't tell it, you can't sell it. See the power of radio. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
It's the 30th anniversary of NBA basketball in Charlotte, and the Hornets are writing the latest chapter in Charlotte basketball history with their first-year head coach, James Borrego. Fast-paced and high-flying. Join the new voice of Charlotte Hornets basketball, Chris Kroger, and 10-year NBA veteran Matt Carroll as they deliver every thrilling moment of Hornets hoops all season long on the Charlotte Hornets Radio Network.
Here's Charlotte Hornet basketball right here on the Boss in Carolina Country. WHS, WCSL, and WLON. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com. Bill Shuford Heat and Air and American Standard presents the American Standard Set the Standard event. Now through November 30th, get up to $1,000 in discounts on qualifying American Standard equipment, or get 0% APR financing with 60 equal monthly payments, plus many more special Set the Standard event offers. See Bill Shuford Heat and Air for all the details. Bill Shuford Heat and Air, 213 Campbell Street in Shelby. Call 704-484-0025.
Pike.
Hey,
Yeah, there we
turn it
are.
up.
Yeah, welcome back to Saturday Morning Sports Talk
I
Show.
installed a kill switch in here so if I want to show up, I can. See,
Hey.
ain't that magic?
That's kind of mean.
Well, you know, if Hunter starts losing some language talking about the Redskins, I can always say, hey. Oh, is that how it goes? If you're watching on YouTube, hello. Carson's here online, whether you know it or not. He's sitting there next to you.
Oh, you put his picture
His
up.
avatar is. You
His
want
avatar.
to put some? You can put some rabbit ears. Yeah, there you go.
I'm glad you could show up, buddy.
NASCAR, the champion, new champion, 4 straight years in a row. Joey Logano wins the race, and here's some fun notes before I go to the captain complaint over here to my left. Logano, before the race, his crew chief Terry said, I hope it comes down to a 20-lap shootout because I think I have the best driver. It came down to exactly a 20-lap shootout with all 4 drivers in the 1, 2, 3, and 4 spots. Nobody else was up in front messing around. Imagine that. And so you had the shootout, and then Logano won the shootout. I thought we was about to see an outstanding ending when they lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, and because all 4 of these guys raced really hard with each other, and there's kind of no holds bar.
Yep, two of them like to bump and grind.
Yep.
I mean, I thought we could have seen this get nasty.
And all of a sudden, you know, after a lap or two, Logano's gone, and it turned into one of those races that Terry don't like, where the leader gets a little bit of steam, and there's nobody around him, and this brought up, you know, and with the way NASCAR makes their changes and everything, and this has been my idea the past few years, if you're going to just wipe out the standings or whatever, and you're going to go to a shootout for the last race of the year, Terry, let's see what you think about this. And you're just going to throw 4 people in there anyway, because what did the first 2 accomplish no matter what? You know, we're 4 people in a race is what we're at. We're already in Florida. why not move that second Daytona race to the last race of the year, and then you've got all kinds of things going on. You've got teammates helping with the draft. You're definitely going to have a photo finish. What if that was those top 4 this week guys at Daytona instead of Homestead going into that finish?
I have said that all along.
You like
I
that?
think when it comes down to it, it needs to be a Daytona or a Talladega. That way you cannot run away from everybody else and
I
run
think
off
it'd be
and
great.
run by
I think
yourself.
it's Speedway.
If you're going to throw them all
I
together
want
like that
either
anyway.
Daytona or Talladega.
I don't want Talladega.
But
I want I'd
do.
like the Daytona.
I want either one of those
I know that.
because you cannot run away and everybody's going to be there. And then I want to see what happens when them Final Four. How much do you want the championship then? Am I going to knock people out of the way to go get it? I mean, you know,
It'd be a lot
I'm
more- it'd be a
surprised
lot
that
better
a certain
race.
number didn't get a little bit itchy. That's a number 1-8. Yeah, you know,
well,
he's
he
used to
didn't have
getting
no
itchy.
car. I mean, as soon as they started, he didn't get started, and he was out of it right at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them passed him. You know, but he stayed in it long
entertainment
enough for
purposes, that's
the
what we're
right
doing.
purposes.
Right.
They stayed out on the track. They got the caution. They got the front spot. He beat everybody out, but he just didn't have the car.
It's almost like a Charlotte race to that point where you got to there in the top 4 and then that guy in the front pulled out. Charlotte's so narrow that it leads to that a lot of times. You know, I've never been a really big fan of the Homestead track. You know, I don't mind it, but you know, if you're going to put it somewhere, you already got Daytona, don't you? In the playoffs, so you know you could switch those 2 spots. I don't think that's going to really affect anything much. I just beginning the season. I mean, you're everyone knows Daytona.
Yeah.
Everyone, if you know NASCAR, you know Daytona. So if you're not going to change the 500 at the beginning of the season, why not change that other one? Then you begin and end the season in Daytona every year, and I think that would be an exciting thing. I'm sure the folks in Daytona
I think that would be not only a smart move for a better race.
You're also much closer to Disneyland and get that promotion.
I was going to say that's not only a smarter race, you know, being for the fans to watch. That's what they want to see is a close race and not the front runner to run off and everybody else just is, you know, they're fighting for second. But I think it would also be, like you said, because it is a household name of it's Daytona. The championship is going to be held at Daytona. That's like when in any other sport when people say, oh, we're going to hold this just like the Super Bowl's coming up in the new dome, the new at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, or holding it at, you know, or in Boston at the TD Garden when the playoffs are there. You know, it's just I think that would be better for the fans that want to go to the game. I think they would prefer to go to Daytona just because of the racetrack. And, yeah, the racing would be better than Homestead.
It's actually a lot closer driving distance, too.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize how much further Miami is than the Daytona area down the beach. It's a long drive.
A lot fun.
I mean, what would hurt them for having 3 races there? Let's just make it interesting. Let's have
Every
your
race
start, your
Daytona.
July the 4th, and then your end of the year, all at Daytona.
Well, there's Terry's idea.
Yeah.
Hot takes from Terry.
We're going to talk more NASCAR this offseason, of course. I think the biggest thing that, you know, that they're talking about rule changes and whatever, the biggest thing I think is they got to figure out how, you know, I understand one car having an advantage in this and that over the other. That's the point of having different models and makes. But the thing is, you can't have one maker completely out of the top 10 every week. And if that was, you know, that's Chevrolet out of there. If that was Toyota, we'd be like, we wouldn't care. We'd just be saying, well, they just can't compete. But we're talking about Chevrolet here, and they're not even in the top 10 really hardly every week, Terry. And I don't know what they got to do because we don't know cars that much, and you know, and we can get into it here more in the post.
I think it's in all seriousness, they can't figure out this body style. They switched it up to the Camaro, and they for real last year they were still having success. And what was it? The Impala? No, it was the Impala, wasn't it? What was the body style?
The Impala. A lot of people have went also from the, you know, the Hendrix built engines too. So maybe it is an engine type thing. That's what I wonder about it with the engine because remember everybody used to buy from them, and now everybody's switching over to other people.
Well, I know it's not everybody, but I always sit back and I know Mazda's getting ready to come in and be in this mix.
I was about to say that that's something Chevrolet needs to watch out for too. That'd be bad to be behind a first year.
Yeah, I agree, but you know, and I also sit back and I wonder, is it your commitment? I mean, Chad Canals, since he got married, I mean, he kind of went away from him and Jimmy doing their thing, and I understand that when you got a wife, hey, there's a little bit of obligation that you got over there, and maybe you're not spending 110% on your car all the time. But, that's just one little scenario. But as far as everything else, Chevrolet's got to do something. And I'm like, Hunter, have they figured this out? No, they have not. The whole time they've been in this body style, they keep working with it. And, who's coming up with the right things to do.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not just Chevrolet that struggles, because isn't the rumor going around, or maybe it's even fact now, that Ford switching to the Mustang body style next year for NASCAR? So maybe Ford struggles next year. And if that's the case, I think that it's just proven that maybe it's the body style. People still trying to figure out the aerodynamics.
Ford is actually getting rid of all of their car manufacturing business.
Yes, they
totally,
are. Yes, they
except
are.
for the Mustang and the electrics and the hybrid.
Yeah, they're going to Mustangs. They're going to have just small SUVs, mid-size SUVs, because they get such good gas mileage still. And of course, they're going to keep their trucks.
So, and here's another thing going forward is we've got last year's champion. Not his team just running a lame duck season the very next year. Like, if your champion can't afford to stay open for the next 5 years at least, you've got a serious problem. Right, Terry? Shouldn't you make enough money to be able to and do enough in the sport for the champion to be able to survive a team in the next 3 to 5 years? I mean, you're going to say, hey, we're the champion. Then the whole team closes. And meanwhile, you got these other teams running because they've got their sponsorships. I think NASCAR's got to figure out some type of sponsorship system to where it benefits everyone, kind of like the other sports do with the revenue sharing, to where you have to where you don't have things like that, where these drivers that are actually good that want to race, they're just falling by the wayside because they can't get a ride. And what's happening is these kids are bringing their own sponsors and everything. It's buy your way into it now and not drive your way into it like it used to be.
That's exactly
right.
right.
The thing that scares me now is
would Jimmy Johnson make it today? Because remember where he came from. He came up driving dirt tracks and motorcycles, dirt tracks, and drove his way into this. Will Jimmy Johnson make it in today's NASCAR without the financial backing? He came from the trailer parks in Sonoma, California. This isn't, and now these guys are coming in today like Logano, and they go, say what you want to about it, but that's, kind of how they did it and everything. And so he's sitting there at the champion, and Jimmy's losing a crew chief, and Truex is losing a team. I don't know the solution, Terry. You got any ideas? I mean, Hunter.
Well, I mean, for as far as Martin Truex, I mean, you talk about it, and then he says, "I'm more committed to my guys." I understand that 100%, but where's he going? He's going to Joe Gibbs, so he's going to get all the support he needs over there. Him and Kyle Busch are going to be top-notch people to help each other. Now that's funny.
Yep. Well, they're not going to help each other.
They're not. They're both going to try and win. But
but I mean, you think about it. He could come up
crew
next
chiefs
year.
might talk, but
but that's what's hey, you got to think though how.
I mean, Gibbs Racing could be dominating NASCAR next year.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because think about it. They still have a number 3 driver that's not bad either in Hamlin.
Yes,
so
true.
I mean, you could see them probably winning between those 3 at least 45% of the races.
Denny Hamlin, also Jimmy Johnson, neither one of them with a win this year for the first time for a long time for both of them. Jimmy, first time in his career. He'll be getting a new crew chief and a new sponsor, so there was some. There obviously was some things going on there, Terry, in that house with you lose Lowe's after all these years. You lose Chad Knaus and Jimmy split, and Jimmy's still there, and Chad's moving, and they got Lowe's is moving. So, I
think this is what's really hurting sponsorships in NASCAR in general. It doesn't help that NASCAR's ratings are not what they used to be. They're slightly tipping down, and I'm in no way saying the sport's dying. I'm not. I don't think it is. I think it's still a good sport. But some of these, it's the same thing like in our business when you're trying to gain advertisers. They're wanting to see, and that's this whole industry, it's eyes and ears. They want to see that people are watching, they're tuning in, and they're going to either see or hear about their brand. And they're saying, well, this is a huge commitment for us because this isn't like paying for maybe a couple $100 spot. This is, I think, a couple $1 million deal to put this on a car. And they're saying, well, hey, is this really benefiting us, or are we making our money anyways without putting our name on this car?
Here's a possible idea, suggestion. Maybe I don't know the details of how to work it or not.
Yeah.
But these cars go to different tracks and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So especially the tracks that you go more than once, they should have some type of NASCAR should some type of setup or deal where local sponsors near those tracks have a better chance of acquiring sponsorships for a one race type thing. You know what I mean? There should be some type of a deal or break that they give to local sponsors. So when they come to Charlotte for the second race, you know, Jimmy's in the Lowe's car the first one, well, the second one, you can buy that. You can buy half the car, so maybe the side panels for cheaper than you normally could for a local advertiser that does. So think about it, you got these local the people in Charlotte or Daytona's got two races. All these places got two races, and if you open that up to where local advertisers can get bigger sponsors on it, I think that will bring in more money that way. Not everybody's got the millions and millions to throw into a race car, but if you can get how do taxes work? They take 10 cents from us at a time, and if you can do that from some of the local levels and get some of the local guys and maybe on the side panels, you come to Charlotte this year, see, Sonny's Bar, Southern, like a Sun Drop or Southern, some of these Southern or local businesses. You know what I mean, Terry? What's up, Charlotte could afford a spot. Maybe we couldn't buy the Jimmy car, but we could buy the Danica Patrick car. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the way I look at it, and this is at the end of the race. So let's say Logano wins it and he goes out there like he did, and you're revving that engine up. Let's say you blow the engine. It's not like cutting down a net after you win an NCAA championship. That net costs maybe, I'm giving a high-end rate, $10. But that engine is going to cost a whole lot more than that little $10.
Also, how does that pass post-race inspection for the championship?
Like, if I'm illegal, I'm going to go forward.
And you're doing them donuts, just slicking out them tires worse and worse.
How many times have we heard a crew chief say, mess up your rear end while you're celebrating? We've heard that. We've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah.
So that's I've always wondered why they're allowed to blow their engines and tires like that.
This is just something NASCAR has got.
Back and blow it out.
NASCAR is at the point now where I don't know if they might have been brushing this under the rug. Well, now it's time to pick up the rug and kind of clean under there too. This is just something that they've been struggling with, not just this year.
Shorter races, maybe we've always talked about that. But the thing about it is that if you haven't watched or don't watch, I want you to watch, because what you're going to get when you watch a football game, and I watch on Twitter, and the only thing it is people complaining about the announcers the whole time. Like, you ain't got nothing better to do than watch this football game and complain about the announcers. But in a NASCAR race, I guarantee if you watch a NASCAR race, you're not going to complain about the announcers, because they're going to give you so much information. Like, you'll learn so much about your car, about how cars work, about all kinds of things. It's so much more of an informative broadcast than any other broadcast that you'll see on TV. But anyway, what was that, Terry?
I have no idea. You have to understand, JP.
Was that a JP?
His own thing.
JP,
yeah.
I didn't know if that was Carson or a Shih Tzu down the hall. What was going on? He can't even. Oh, he's laughing. He don't even know what we're talking about. He's got his earbuds.
Oh, he's plugged up.
He's got his earbuds in.
Oh, wow.
Now we've talked about the Nerf gun. My son's got like 10 of these little mini ones with 3 shots in them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to bring that tomorrow. So I had it yesterday. I just left it there this morning, but I am going to bring it in. We're going to rack his jaws.
I guarantee he's listening to Batman or something. I guarantee it.
I'm about to say, how are we going to get it? You want me just to run over there and just start flailing my arms to try and get his attention?
Well, we don't have the JP cam this week.
Darn.
We can turn Carson's
really
around
have
or
fun doing this.
move the. Well, I bet I could set up the JP cam, and he wouldn't even know that I set it up.
Isn't the JP cam right over there right now?
The one that's on Carson, there's no. It's it's just showing that nothing.
No, I'm talking about. Isn't that the JP cam? That's
it's
the
over on
webcam?
the wall. Yeah, it's over on the. We had a different setup for last night's show, but like he's just having a great time in there, isn't he, folks? I wish we.
It's like, listen at him, y'all. I'm telling you, it's like
he just looked up and told us to pray.
It is so funny. It's
dying.
like going. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was just about to say, Hunter, he knows what time the brakes are. He's gonna look up and tell us in a minute it's time for a break. I was just about to say it, and he did.
I thought y'all were laughing because I was laughing. I'm sorry.
We're laughing at you.
We are laughing because you're laughing.
I know.
Jeez.
I'm telling you, it's like taking him somewhere and they got the little kitty room over here and you just put him inside of it and let him go.
Terry, be quiet and rant about something else, not me. Rant about the Redskins. Rant about
so
North Carolina or something.
He's just saying sports.
I know no teams. I just work here. That's all I do. I'm here for a paycheck.
There you go.
Well, you named 2 teams he doesn't like, is at least what you did, JP. All right, real quick, our top 20, and we'll go to break, JP, so get ready for the break. Top 20 here on the KDC Broadcasting Power Poll. 4 points for 4A victory, 3 for 3, 2 for 2, 1 for 1. You get an extra point in the playoffs. In playoff losses, you do not lose an extra point. However, this is how it goes. If you lose to a 4A, no points. 3A, -1. 2A, -2. And 3A, -3. Looking at the top 20, Forest View. Hey, everybody. Carson's here. Wait, you've been watching him. You've been watching his avatar online. So, but anyway.
Well, all right, 50 minutes. We'll dock you $50.
So we're gonna have a special guest in just a moment. That'll show up for just a little bit, and then he's gonna have to do overtime probably by himself. We said you're gonna do overtime by yourself, Carson. You're gonna sit here from 10 to 10:15. Carson's gonna sit here and talk about Hunter Huss and Charlotte Catholic next week is what we're gonna do. Right there.
That's it.
He's cool.
And Duke losing.
And Duke, he wants to talk about Duke basketball.
I knew it was going.
That's what it'll be. The last 10 minutes will be Duke basketball punishment. JP, well, we're going to do our top 20. Forest View's number 20. They didn't make the playoffs. They're the highest-ranked non-playoff team. We had 19 of our 30 teams make the playoffs. Cherryville's number 19, -6 points. -3 points at 18 is Mountain Island Charter. With 1 point on the year is the Burns Bulldogs at 17. Number 16, Ashbrook Green Wave with 7 points. And 9 points, Stuart Kramer. They finished 8-4 at number 15. At number 14 is the Maiden Blue Devils, also with 9. Maiden won the tiebreaker on that. West Lincoln is your number 13 team. Now, here's how it goes, folks.
12.
The whole season, Terry, 13. Did you switch that when nobody was looking?
Why? No, I'm on camera.
My sheet of paper is right. That's probably not. That's not the official. I think Terry switched some logos up here on our PowerPoint poll. So West Lincoln's at 13 with 11 points. Now, how it works is once you get knocked out of the playoffs, you're dropped to the bottom of the poll basically. So you don't advance past that. So you're knocked out of the playoffs. So West Lincoln is the highest ranked team that was knocked out of the playoffs. Maiden was second, Kramer third, and Ashbrook fourth. If you're following along. So this week we lose 6 teams, and we still have 6 teams available. So we lost half our teams in the area. If you're doing the math on that, Community School of Davidson 12th. Bessemer City 11th, and then our top 10, East Lincoln with 2 power points at number 10. East Rutherford with 16 power points at number 9. They were beat by South Point with 16 power points as well, so South Point gets the nod at the number 8 spot, and that leaves us with the Crest Chargers as their final resting place is number 7. Now, before we go any further, folks, you're wondering, why is Bessemer ahead of West Lincoln or Maiden or Stuart Kramer? This is a poll based on how well your season went, not if we think your team. There's no thinking in this poll. It's all math, all facts. So it might be fuzzy, might be fuzzy math and fuzzy facts. But anyway, so going to the top 6. So I've got Crest at 7. Number 6 is Thomas Jefferson. So what this means is that Thomas Jefferson, Terry, has had a better season than Crest, right? If you just close your eyes and I say, which team had a better season? Undefeated in third round or 4 losses in second round?
It's pretty simple. If you said that, then I'm going with undefeated into the third round.
All right, so calm down, Will the Thrill Boykins. If you're out there, Thomas Jefferson is ranked ahead of you. And so is, actually, I've got these, North Lincoln is right ahead of Thomas Jefferson. They're 1 point ahead of Thomas Jefferson. Folks, Thomas Jefferson beat North Lincoln this year. So let's be careful on how bad, you don't poo-poo these 1A teams. North Lincoln's coming into Shelby next week. They're going to have their matchup. They're number 4 with 21 power points. And then Hunter, your Bandy's Trojans this year, they fluctuated. They started in first for a few weeks, then they had to bye.
Yeah.
Then they followed up the bye with a loss. That
didn't help. It was a 1 point loss.
1 point. That's the key. A 1 point loss. So Bandy's only blemish, folks, this year at 12-1 was a 1 point loss. Even if they had won that game in our power poll, they'd still be in third right now based on the points. But they'd rather be undefeated, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Kings Mountain 11-2 overall. They've got 33 power points. They're our number 2 team in the power poll, and then of course number 1, the Hunter Huss Huskies, 13-0, 40 power points. And we want to welcome Carson Dockery to the show. Carson, now they they came into the game at 7.1 points a game, shut out Crest for the second time this year. Now they're averaging 6.6 points of defense. You can go.
Is that good?
I'll let you say it.
Is that good?
I'll let you say it.
That sounds good.
Now Burns scored 6 on them in the first drive, and then they didn't get to the .6 the rest of the game. Now, Is this the best Hunter Huss team? And should they start measuring rings, Hunter Carson?
I'm never gonna say start measuring rings. First off, but
We got fans that'll start doing that right now. I want to hear in the third round.
People
Terry.
will.
well, some places in Cleveland County maybe, but not off of Edgefield Road.
All right.
I've talked to that about a couple guys I went to school with. This has got to be the best Huss team.
Right.
Ever. It's not really a question at this point. I mean, really, Terry, we talked about it on the pregame show a lot. The fact that the other team that went undefeated in the regular season lost in the first round.
Yeah.
So honestly, just by winning that first round, you probably were the best Huss team ever. But now you've just cemented that. There's a lot more of a history with basketball, and that's what I mean. I had one of my buddies, and he's like, do you think they could beat the team when we were there? And I was like, yes, not even close. We weren't that good at football. We were good at basketball.
They're giving up 6 points a game.
Yeah, that's what I had to explain to him. I was like, man, you got multiple D1 guys on defense, and if there was going to be any time where you wouldn't think that having a great defense would really do so much, it would be now. But I mean, it's not the Big 12, and it's not the NFL. So I guess we still play defense in high school.
To make you, I'm trying to make you feel good about Truss. I don't have too much to poo-poo them because Terry, doing these numbers and these polls the last 5-10 years here, the teams that are giving up less than 10 points a game, they almost all make the state championship game. I'm gonna tell you that. And most of them win it. But I'm not trying to scare you too much there on that. But everyone that's been under 10 points has just marched through pretty much the playoffs. Put it this way, Shelby, the team that they give up like 7 or 8 points again, I think it was 8.8 or something like that. They went in and it was like 54-10 on somebody in the championship game. So the West may be harder. This conference and this side of the bracket may be even harder than if you even make it to the championship game.
I mean, next week is gonna be your test.
Yep.
Obviously shutting Crest out twice in a season. I don't know. If
that's the ultimate. Think about it, 49-0.
Yeah, combined. And really, last night, I mean, it was only 7-0 at halftime.
Mm-hmm. I was there at 7.
The second half, they just ran away, and that was something I didn't. I mean, I thought Huss had a good chance against Crest in a rematch, and I saw a stat where basically in the Crest Huss series, whoever wins the first matchup, if they meet again in the playoffs, you're more than likely to win again. But just the fact that, like I say, they ran away with it. I mean, 7-0 at halftime, and then you go on a 28-0 run to end the game.
Before the season, Carson, I said 49-0 combined against Crest. You taking that bet at any point? What kind of odds would you have to have?
No, I mean, you can never really bank on a shutout, much less two.
Would you take 49-1 odds on that 49-0?
Probably.
You would. You might take that.
It's hard to turn.
There's a line
down.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, at a certain point, I'll throw.
That's how Vegas operates.
I'll throw $5 on that. I mean,
well, let me ask you something. You're going now to the third round. You're going to face a Charlotte Catholic team who's stout every year.
Yeah.
And you've got them coming to your place.
That is
here,
so much of it, though.
A loss here, would that be a down? I mean,
it would
for the third round, you get beat by Charlotte Catholic?
It would be a little disappointing. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, if it's going to happen, I feel like it would be to Charlotte Catholic because there's a lot of different circumstances.
All right, before the season, I say you go 13-0, best team ever, and you lose to Charlotte Catholic. You take that, right?
Yeah.
As a fan, a student, or former student, and you would take that. Most schools, I would say, would. So,
yeah.
If you lose this week, I don't think you're going to lose to Cal. I think y'all going to beat the snot out of them there at home. Really, if you want to know the truth.
That's the thing.
I don't think that defense, Carson, is just.
I really
ridiculous,
want to see the faces of Charlotte Catholic kids when they go from Highway 51 Pineville Matthews Road to Edgefield Road. That's just two very different places.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to see that because, I mean, Huss doesn't have an atmosphere like a lot of schools around here. They don't have, it's not a South Point. It's not, even Cherryville has some history.
Is it weird for the fans that the away fans sit with the press box and the home fans?
It used to be.
They switch all the time.
When my mom was there,
right.
It was how it is now. It was the concrete bleachers with a home side because they didn't want you to walk,
Mhm.
and that's, I guess, their reasoning.
That's
now.
been the thing the
but
whole
when
time.
I was
right?
there, it was the metal bleachers. It was
Right.
the far side. I don't know. I mean,
When we played against you guys, it was we were on the away side, the
home
the
side
school
now.
side. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were on that side.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, the field's down in a hole. That's always been the
Mhm.
joke. Is that it's down in a hole.
Yep.
The hill where you walk back and forth basically down to the concession
Mhm.
stand and around. That hill is like a smooth 30-degree angle.
Yeah, I was up there last night.
Yeah, you get a calf workout if nothing
Yeah.
else. But you know, it's one of those things where, I mean, when Coach McCoy came in, there were people that were a little bit, you know, suspect of it, because obviously you had Gardner there, and you talk to 9 coaches out of 10, and they would tell you Coach Gardner gets as much out of kids as anybody does, anybody ever has, and to see from Gardner to McCoy. I mean, McCoy was a guy who went to Huss, who was coached by Gardner, and now he's a guy that, I mean, Terry, we've talked about it. You know, when they played Clover, South Carolina coaches said that Huss could compete down there,
They sure
and
did.
that's as big a compliment as you can give to anybody.
Yeah.
Especially right there in that upstate South Carolina where you're playing Rock Hill, South Point with an E, Burns with a Y. I mean, that's at Northwestern. I mean, that's
God, those schools can't spell.
they can't. They really can't.
Those are schools.
they're real
Did
good
you
at
see
football,
Did you see who they produced? Jadavion Clowney. He can't read either.
Oh
Hey,
God!
man, he can get to a quarterback.
You don't have to read a book chasing the quarterback, do you?
Nope.
I've played against Catholic, I think twice, Terry, maybe even 3 times, maybe even JV. I'm not sure. Believe it or not, when they first started, they would play us 1A schools at Best
played West
Cherryville
Lincoln, too.
and been West Lincoln.
West Lincoln went 2-2 against them.
I was about to say, I thought we beat them one year.
Well, I know
I'm
West
pretty sure
Lincoln
in
went
10th
2-2 against them.
in 10th or one of the younger years, not my senior year, they beat us at Bessemer. But I thought at Cherryville, I thought we beat them in JV because I think I threw a couple touchdowns against them on because I remember, you know, the next few years people were like, Charlotte Catholic, I was like, we beat them, and then it turned into a little bit better after that. That was the old like we
then
used to
you
be
become
Crest.
into the 90s to 2000s, yeah.
One
pretty
quick
dominant.
comment, yes or no, Carson. I'm gonna word it the way I like to word things. Terry and Tom, was it Terry and Tom last night, or Tom and Dennis last night picked Weddington to travel up to Boone in round 3A in the day before December and beat an undefeated Watauga team. Weddington from Charlotte. Are they
Charlotte?
Whatever. One of the Mint Hill.
Weddington's its own place.
Weddington is going. They
Clean
predicted
on the
go to
other side.
Boone and win that game. Yes or no?
Oh, God, no.
That's what I said. Like, what are
There's
y'all
no
talking
way.
about?
There's no way. I mean, Weddington is. I mean, that's South Charlotte, to be honest. I mean, it's his own place, but it's South Charlotte.
Yeah.
But you're not prepared for that if you're from around here.
I told him, I said,
no
their
way.
ears are gonna stop popping on the bus.
Yeah, you better bring some chewing gum and chew it the whole way.
and then when that starts happening, and then they're gonna see the windows on the door
Fog up.
on the bus, and they're gonna get colder and colder. They're gonna think it's cold in Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
And then it's going to drop 20 degrees, and God forbid the wind picks up.
Oh,
If
that would be the worst. Because you know there's going to be those kids who aren't going to wear sleeves, but man, I'm hard. I ain't going to wear no sleeves. I don't need no sleeves. And
Good luck.
then about halfway through the first quarter, they'll be like, Coach, man, I need a jacket.
Terry, should those schools up in the mountains, if it's going to be cold like that, should they do some artificial fans from the woods and get that wind to blowing? Some home field advantage.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys, we're way over time on that. We'll be back just a few minutes to we got to talk NCAA football picks next on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Dr. John L. Cloninger III of Lincolnton will brighten your smiles with professional cosmetic dentistry and smile enhancement procedures for everyone. Even Duke fans will smile at the work of this Tar Heel. The office of Dr. John L. Cloninger III is located at 904 Doncha Drive. For an appointment, call 704-735-0765. That's 704-735-0765. And John III says best wishes to all high school athletes.
Maybe a punctuation mark on a career night.
It's the 30th anniversary of NBA basketball in Charlotte, and the Hornets are writing the latest chapter in Charlotte basketball history with their first-year head coach, James Borrego. Fast-paced and high-flying. Join the new voice of Charlotte Hornets basketball, Chris Kroger, and 10-year NBA veteran Matt Carroll as they deliver every thrilling moment of Hornets hoops all season long on the Charlotte Hornets Radio Network.
There's Charlotte Hornet basketball right here on the Boss in Carolina Country. WHS, WCSL, and WLON. Online at KDCBroadcasting.com. When you need service on your automobile, do what I do and what most people around this area do. They take it to Rick's Automotive in Cherryville. They do it all at Rick's Automotive in Cherryville. Rick Walker and his staff is dedicated at providing you the best in automotive care, from an oil change to a tune-up to a full set of tires. Be sure to check out their tire specials before you buy. That's Rick's Automotive, 1001 East Main Street in Cherryville. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30. Just call 704-435-3801 for Rick's Automotive in Cherryville. Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to help make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Ronaldo Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army cattle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Ronaldo Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Ronaldo Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Ronaldo Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Wednesday morning from 11 to 12 for the Golf Shop Radio Show. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're gonna love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
It's time to tee it up at Kings Mountain Country Club, open to the public 7 days a week. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for $40. And seniors 55 and older can play and ride Monday through Friday for just $24. For your tee time, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club, 100 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain.
Say, kids, what time is it?
This is the 60s.
Hey, J.J. Wilson here, reminding you to tune in this weekend for This is the 60s, featuring the best music from the best decade and so much more. There's 60s television, movies, news, pop culture, trivia, novelty songs, interviews, deep cuts, and a whole lot more. It's peace, love, and rock and roll on This is the 60s.
This is the 60s, Friday mornings from 10 a.m. till 12 noon on The Boss, WHS, AM and FM in Shelby, WLON in Lincolnton. Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to help make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Ronaldo Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army cattle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Ronaldo Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Ronaldo Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Ronaldo Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall. When you shop our local advertisers, be sure to tell them you heard it on the radio. That way they'll know that their radio dollars they spend works for them and you too. Even in today's fast-moving world, radio remains the leading media to reach more people. 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio over the air. TV viewership is 89%, smartphone use is 83%, and personal computer use is 50%. So if you're a business owner, reach more people with the power of radio. If you don't tell it, you can't sell it. See the power of radio. WHS Shelby, WLON Lincolnton, WCSL Cherryville. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. for our Sunday morning worship services. On WCSL 1590 AM and 92.3 FM, it's the Sunday morning service of First Baptist Church in Cherryville. On WLON 1050 AM and 107.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Covenant Bible Church in Lincolnton. And on WOHS 1390 AM and 101.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Calvary Baptist Church of Shelby. Join us each and every Sunday morning for our Sunday morning worship services on The Boss and Carolina Country.
It's the 30th anniversary of NBA basketball in Charlotte, and the Hornets are writing the latest chapter in Charlotte basketball history with their first-year head coach, James Borrego. Fast-paced and high-flying. Join the new voice of Charlotte Hornets basketball, Chris Kroger, and 10-year NBA veteran Matt Carroll as they deliver every thrilling moment of Hornets hoops all season long on the Charlotte Hornets Radio Network.
Here's Charlotte Hornet basketball right here on the Boss in Carolina Country. WHS, WCSL, and WLON. Online at kdcbroadcasting.com. Bill Shuford Heating and Air and American Standard presents the American Standard Set the Standard event. Now through November 30th, get up to $1,000 in discounts on qualifying American Standard equipment, or get 0% APR financing with 60 equal monthly payments, plus many more special Set the Standard event offers. See Bill Shuford Heating and Air for all the details. Bill Shuford Heating and Air, 213 Campbell Street in Shelby. Call 704-484-0025.
But anybody that pronounces it Cherry, I know, is not from the area.
Anybody that says Cherryville, because I feel like you're trying.
You're trying too hard.
Trying too
Yeah.
hard.
If you spell it CHU, you're trying too hard. It's chair, like a chair.
Cherryville.
And then Ville or Vod, depending on which side of town, the east side or west side.
That's how I've always said.
And those east side boys don't mess with those west side boys. Just letting you know.
What is this, West Side Story?
What?
Hunter,
Someone's gonna come in here snapping.
I mean, East Side don't mess with West Side. Well,
Hunter,
okay, wait
Hunter,
a minute.
no. That's the answer to your question. No, no, it's not.
No.
Terry, what do you think? West side or east side?
Whichever
You
side.
got Tupac or Biggie?
That's
West
the
side.
real question, Terry. That is the real question.
Terry Tupac.
Terry took Tupac.
That's because he knows where he's hiding.
Terry's LBC to the death of me.
I will never forget that when Biggie died they did the song, the Puff Daddy song, Faith Evans. I mean, I remember you. I'm missing you. Whatever it is, the Sting remake. And I was at Carolina basketball camp, and then when that came out, and this one dude brought his speaker system for the week, like his whole speaker system. Like we're all bringing gym bags.
Yeah.
My man brought it. He's walking in with not a forklift. Hand trucks with the I'm talking 6 foot tall speakers. Like this ain't the little ones. You know, now you can buy an MP3 one that's that loud or Bluetooth one.
Yeah.
But he brought the big jackers of subwoofers up in there, and we listened to that song. Not that we wanted to, but the whole
You had no choice.
all 7 floors listened to that song on repeat for about a week. So just that song will forever be in my head. Also, I'll never forget freshman year at Appalachian is the Dodo in the corner when the Hunter's favorite. CD came out. Lincoln Park CD came out.
God, yeah.
Oh,
and
God.
so
Hybrid Theory.
And it's what it was. And we're on the far end of the corner, and his dorm was on the corner facing campus. So this Dodo would crank it up you can hear and my classes were on the other side of campus. You didn't need to get halfway before you could start hearing boom 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 the little Lincoln Park in the background.
Yeah.
So my walk all the way home during the day from class, I'm listening to the Lincoln Park album from the court square back to the dorm.
Hey, well, don't act like it's not a good album.
I'm not saying it was, Hunter, but I didn't need to hear it every day on my walk home for like a month.
I listen to it every day. At least twice a day. Front to back.
So do you want to pronounce Louisville, Terry? You want to get into that?
Louisville.
Pronounce Louisville. What about Lancaster?
Louisville.
What you got on Lancaster?
Lancaster.
It depends on which one you're talking about. That's Concord. It depends if it's here.
Concord?
If it's up north, it's
there
Concord.
you go. That's what people say.
Have you ever seen a Concorde plane take off?
No.
Yes,
Oh
those things
my
are cool.
Gosh, they don't. I don't think they don't do them. They don't take off in St. Louis anymore, but they used to, and they take off right into the stadium. You have no idea. In Hunter's seen it before. You have no idea the sound and power of them things. Just it rocked the stadium.
My grandfather loves airplanes, so he used to we went to the air show up in Ohio.
Crazy.
And
well, I'm gonna tell you, man. When you
they're
think of
cool.
stuff, that's like saying when you say Huff High School, people say Huff. H-U-F-F?
Yeah.
No.
H-O-U-G-H.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Huff. And every time they see that, I think of Huffle. I'm going to Harry Potter's. I'm going to Harry Potter when they say Huff. I'm like, oh, yeah, what are y'all? Oh, okay, y'all are not their favorite ones.
Yeah, no.
They're kind of forgotten about it.
So how'd the picks go last week? Who won?
Last week, Carson and Hunter went 18-4.
Ooh,
It's not
which
too
is
bad.
not bad.
I'll take it.
It's not bad.
Terry
Y'all suck,
Reinhardt
though.
went
19.
20-2.
Ooh, better.
I mean, I'll take
Okay.
18-4.
I lost to Cincinnati, and we all lost Boston College as Florida State knocked them off.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Which
Yeah.
blows my mind, but hey.
I mean, y'all picked Boston College so fast last week, too. It wasn't even funny.
I think that's what did it.
Yeah, that is what did it. We did it that fast. And that's why my buddy, because my buddy's a Florida State fan, he asked me what kind of percentage I give Florida State to beat Florida. I said, I'll give you about a 45% chance. Just because what y'all did to Boston College. I said, other than that, I think Florida still wins this game.
So breaking news: there'll be a Myrtle Beach Bowl next year, is it the next?
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah,
How
so that's awesome.
There's a bowling alley in Myrtle Beach, and I want them to sponsor it.
So
It'll be the
bad.
Myrtle Beach Bowl.
It's so bad. That'll be awesome.
Can't the gay dolphin do it?
The Chanticleers lost by 3 to South Alabama this week, so give you an update on that. Now let's get to Saturday. We had a lot of games these past 2 days. Saturday,
I know. Yeah, we really
starting
did.
off big. Michigan at Ohio State, number 4 at number 10.
Michigan.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, just like I have said while we're sitting in here in between, Meyer will outcoach Harbaugh, and Ohio State pulls a victory.
College football, I know it's all about coaching, but let me tell you something. Alabama's got the best players, and they always blow out teams. I think Michigan's got the better players than
I think
Ohio
college
State.
football is all about who's got the best players. Because you look at it and say, well, those 5 or 6 teams have the best players, and the other 310 of them just can't.
Harbaugh's
beat
been
those
trying
teams.
to beat him ever since he got there, and he has not done
And
it
he's
yet.
going to do it. And guess what? That's going to be the
Hunter's ready
last
for
little
it.
string on Urban Meyer's health, and he's going to be like, I'm leaving.
I really hope we just have a Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll type situation where at the end of it, Urban Meyer, what's your deal? I just want that so much.
Right.
Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck, go into Athens today.
Georgia.
Anybody?
There's no way they beat Georgia.
I mean, there's a way.
There's no way they beat
triple
Georgia.
option.
Let me tell you
And if
something.
they just hold it for 3 quarters. But that would be it. It would have to be one of those. It would have.
They
to
would
be,
have to
So
be
you're
able
taking
to.
Georgia Tech?
No, I am not.
Oh,
I was about to say.
He said there's no way. I said there is a way.
Okay, there is a way, but what's the percentage that way works
Like
out?
15%.
Okay,
He's-
that's what I wanted to hear.
That's a little more than Lloyd Christmas got, so
All right.
that's better than what you would want. 11 Florida, Florida State.
Florida.
I'll be careful.
Wait, is it? Yeah, it is at Florida State. They don't play that.
Tallahassee.
They don't play that game on a neutral site.
Doak Campbell Stadium.
I don't know.
Doak Walker, isn't it?
Doak Campbell.
It says Campbell. Doak
Doak.
Walker is maybe a different one.
Doak.
Florida
Doak.
State got 5 wins.
Yeah,
I don't
Will this make them bowl eligible?
if they
Think
win,
of it,
yeah, it'd be
y'all.
6-6, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
And
was
you
just
don't
looking
think
at it.
Florida's so going to say, nah, not this year,
Oh, no.
buddy.
Yeah, no.
Well, Boston College got beat last week, got knocked out of the top 25 by Florida State. They host Syracuse this week.
That'd be a good
I am taking Boston College. I think Boston College had their feelings hurt last week. They thought they were going to go into that game and beat Florida State. I think that they're looking for revenge. And like you said, it's at Boston College. They're not playing in the Dome like Syracuse is used to playing.
So, Carson, you can break the tie over here because I took Syracuse.
Syracuse. I think the Syracuse is obviously a lot more creative.
I think Syracuse is good, don't get me wrong. I just think it's winter time and they're not in that Dome anymore, and Boston College is used to be playing in this weather.
I'm sure they
So
practice outside.
who practices outside?
Well, the Lions do when they play indoors. So.
And they beat the Panthers.
That's so
they
light.
did.
They have
Yeah,
they have a
did.
place they can practice.
I know.
Yeah.
And did
They
you
use 8 times a year.
And what's so funny? What's so funny is the Panthers play outside, but they want an indoor training facility.
He wants a bubble. Jeez. Put the Panthers in the bubble. Big game of the day. 11 a.m. broadcast time. KTC Broadcasting. Hunter.
Yes.
How bad is the Tar Heels beat the Wolfpack Day?
I think they get beat by.
Yeah, boy.
Look,
Yeah, Terry, go ahead. You know what
It
I'm
takes
saying.
a true fan to just look at it and be realistic about it. Now, would I like to see North Carolina win? Of course.
No.
But I think North Carolina, I think it'll be closer than you think because it is a rivalry game, and North Carolina's put up some points past few weeks. I think it's maybe a 7 to 10 point loss, but I take NC State.
You know this game right here, Coach Doran's only lost to them one time, and it was when the guy that was running back for Cincinnati.
Giovanni Bernard.
Yeah, he was there. That's the only time he lost.
Yeah,
and it was a blown game at the very end. Really, Doran should have never lost to Carolina.
State, this is one of the best offenses they've had in a while, and Carolina already can't stop anybody.
You're right.
All right, today at Wallace Wade Stadium, for $5, you can get a cheaper ticket to watch a football game between Wake Forest and Duke than it is for the debate tickets for that. So if you're going to the debates, I think they're about $10 for between Wake Forest and Duke. But football game for $5. I'm gonna throw that as a wild card in there for you guys to pick.
I'm taking Duke. God, it pains me to say it.
I'm taking Duke, but I think this is a game that'll be close. We've seen Wake Forest. They've had a couple upsets this year. Duke's defense is good though.
Yeah,
Duke's quarterback.
Daniel Jones. Yeah, he's
Duke's quarterback is good.
Make sure I'm going to repeat this out loud. For $5, you can go see Wake Forest and Duke, or you go to Boone for $25. Pay 5 times as more for the ticket. For a Sun Belt ticket, Terry.
For what could be a conference championship setting up.
Troy at App State today. Check that out. We're not going to pick that one. We'll all pick Appalachian. Maybe. I don't know. They always lost the quarterback. That might not work. Auburn at Alabama. Bama.
Dude, I'm not even going to speak on this game.
Listen.
24.5-point favorite is Alabama.
This is
you taking Alabama?
Yeah, I'm taking it.
Okay, I just
until Alabama proves anything wrong that they can't beat a team by 20 points.
It's never been close, man. You might as well go ahead. Their second string of Alabama
I'll
would
say
beat
this.
Auburn by 10.
$13 for a ticket.
I will say this. This is the first pro-ready quarterback Alabama will see all year, but that Alabama's whole defense is a pro defense. So,
Carson, you taking the Tigers?
Go ahead and take Auburn.
War Eagle, man.
You're taking
War
Auburn?
Eagle.
It's at Alabama. I would understand if it was at Auburn.
Damn
Eagle.
There's a guy, which I don't know which way you come into town, Carson. There's a guy down 216. He's got a farm out there, and he's got a rock that a painted rock. And it's painted maroon. And we were trying to figure out what in the world it was, and then he had an old piece of farm equipment wagon wheel out there, and it was painted maroon too. And then finally, about a week later, they put up an Alabama flag.
Oh God!
So they got a rock and a wagon wheel out there painted maroon. I'm so tempted to stop by and douse that thing in baby blue.
I'll tell you. Or
just douse it in orange. And
I'm going to put baby blue since he's in North Carolina. He'll know what that means.
Sit some herbicide out there and be like, here you go, Harvey. Just go ahead and take out some more trees.
Coach Ponder, his kids come through our school all the time, and I always get with them because they don't like Alabama, and I'll start hollering Alabama like that. Then they start yelling it out.
I just
loud
don't see how a self-respecting person can like Alabama. The colors are terrible. The helmets are terrible. The coach is a jerk.
The mascot makes no sense.
The mascot makes no sense.
At the same time, some sort of Algis wave.
The roll tide doesn't make sense, and we got a wave coming around here. So there's a lot of things that
dirty.
But you want to know what's so funny? I mean, last week Alabama was a 50-something point favorite against the Citadel, and guess what? They did not cover. They did not cover.
Who said that?
Carson, I think you
boy.
Said what?
I said I took the points on that one.
How much money did you win?
Nothing, because I'm a good upstanding man, and I don't gamble.
This is my test. If I keep going every week and maybe missing only 3 or 4, you better believe I'm.
My thing is on the whole Saban thing. My thing is on the whole Saban thing, and some of these college coaches that think they're so good and everything. Come do it at North Carolina. We got plenty of money at the University of North Carolina to have a good football team. Don't sit here at Alabama or Ohio State and talk about how good you are. Come to North Carolina and do it. Go somewhere that's not a name brand.
Exactly.
Why none of them do?
What good does it do Nick Saban's legacy to continue to dominate for like 11? He's got like 6 or 7. He chose more national
Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees.
Yeah.
At this point, right?
Right.
He's got more national championships at Alabama than he has home losses.
That's pretty good.
Like, hey, why don't you? Okay, if your legacy's so good so far, you've shown you can win at LSU. You can't win in the NFL, but you can win at Alabama. Can you win at another place in the college football? Les Miles is about to see if he can do it at Kansas.
Steve Spurrier tried everywhere. I'll give him more credit than about anybody.
Yeah,
He's
he did.
South Carolina.
Hey, there's a
Duke.
reason they call him the head ball coach, and they don't call Nick Saban the head ball coach.
What was Florida before he started throwing it around down there? I mean, you know, he kind of made his way where he went. Yeah, he went in the NFL and tried. You know, Saban picked Culpepper over Drew Brees is all I could ever say. And the Miami Dolphins, you know, they still haven't replaced Dan Marino. The Bills haven't replaced Jim Kelly.
I mean, come on, give the guy credit. He had a school that bought his old house, built him a new one. I mean, come on now. Would you not go there and be top of the line?
All right, Maryland Terrapins at Penn State. We got to get this done quick.
Maryland Terrapins at Penn State. I'm taking Penn State, but God, part of me wanted to take Maryland.
Illini at Northwestern.
Northwestern won their division.
Number 24, Pittsburgh at Miami.
Pittsburgh. I like Mark Richt. I've met him personally. I like Mark Richt. He's very godly.
He's a close friend.
No,
of
I'm not saying he's a close friend. I'm just saying I've met the man. He was once a Georgia coach. I liked him at Georgia, but I did meet him personally. He's just a good man. But I don't see Miami beating Pittsburgh.
All right, the battle of this is the battle of the.
You take Pittsburgh.
Yeah. We're doing battles of the states here. We're doing some bragging
It's
rights.
rivalry week.
Yeah, I'm about to say that in rivalry week. That was one of the next exact words during rivalry this week. Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Let's do that one.
Tennessee.
I'm going to take Tennessee because they upset Kentucky. So obviously there has to be something there.
They almost got beat by Charlotte.
Yeah, even though you almost got beat by Charlotte. Speaking of, who does Charlotte play for?
At Florida Atlantic.
Oh my God. Lane Kiffin.
It's the last chance of U-Bowl.
You taking Tennessee?
I'd say Tennessee.
South Carolina at number 2, Clemson.
That's not answering
Number
that.
15, Kentucky at Louisville.
Kentucky.
Louisville's
won 2 games. Louisville has won 2 games, and Alabama opened the season
State
with
look
them.
awful good last week.
All right,
they did.
So, what I should do instead of pick if it's a top 25 team and not a top 25 team, we'd have more misses and hits if we just did all non-top 25 teams.
No, you're right. Yeah, because
we wouldn't have. You want to break down North Texas and UTSA, UT San Antonio?
Give me
no. How about
UTSA.
all right? Here we go. Number 7, LSU at number 22, Texas A&M. Biggie today.
Texas A&M is favored, but I'm going to take LSU. Yeah, I'm still not sold on that quarterback of A&M.
$73 for that ticket.
Who are you taking, Terry? Did you take A&M?
I took LSU.
You took LSU.
All right, let's see. We got Notre Dame at USC. Number 3, Notre Dame. Do they get upset in California
USC
today?
is just not
Notre Dame. And think about it. Notre Dame's guaranteed if they win this game a playoff spot because they don't have a conference championship game to play for.
BY at number 17, Utah.
Yeah, Utah won for me last week. Don't press too many buttons.
It's at Utah. I'm going to take Utah, but BYU usually plays Utah hard.
They do.
Yeah,
they usually play Utah hard.
I'm going to take BYU.
Some of the best football.
That's not a bad pick.
Utah is number 17. So don't forget they're a Pac-12 school now.
Team now. Yep.
Utah State is not. They're number 21 at Boise State, number 23.
I'm going to go Boise.
I'm going with the blue turf. Give me Boise State.
Here we go.
Boise State's a 2.5-point favorite.
Not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but
cheapest tickets of the week: SMU at Tulsa for $2. You've got Old Dominion at Rice for $2, and the most expensive ticket: Michigan Ohio State, $165 today. Baylor at Texas Tech is $103. That's number 2. Who had Baylor at Texas Tech?
Second highest.
Second highest at $103.
I would have thought the second highest would have been like Auburn and Alabama.
We got 17. I need you to grab 3 more off that board.
3 more off the board?
Yeah, just random. It doesn't matter.
Hawaii at San Diego State.
I'm taking San Diego State.
Well, that shouldn't have been harder.
Give us Arizona
State at Arizona.
I'm going with Herm Edwards and Arizona State. I've chosen them before, and they have not done me wrong.
Yeah, Arizona State. What happened to Khalil Tate, man?
For Arizona, I don't know.
He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated before the season. He had all those crazy games.
You know what I think
year.
it is? I think it's the coach.
Yeah.
I think it's the coach. I can't remember his name, but he was the one at Texas A&M before Jimbo was there, and Texas A&M was going downhill.
Taking Arizona State.
No, Arizona State. Yeah,
Georgia Southern at Georgia State.
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Southern, yeah. Southern.
Well, then wipe that one off. We'll do a different one. I forgot about that. I'll try again.
I was about to say, you're choosing ones, but we're all choosing the same.
That's what I'm trying to. Well, you asked the guy who has no.
Okay, here you go.
I can't differentiate between the 50th and 95th
I'll
best
tell you.
teams.
Here's one. All right, I just saw it. UConn or Temple?
Temple.
Well, I wouldn't have picked that. But.
I'm going to take UConn.
JP. Hey, he's listening. We ready for a break, buddy? All right. Time for a break. We'll be back in a minute. We got to talk NFL, NBA still. Where's Bryce Harper going? Tiger and Phil, and more. We'll be back. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby, in cooperation with the local Salvation Army of Shelby, wants to make this Christmas a little brighter for children in our area. Now through December 22nd, we're asking you to drop off an unwrapped toy and put it in the bed of the big GMC Sierra truck in the Ronaldo Auto Mall showroom. The toys will be distributed to underprivileged children in our area. Plus, if you'd like to make a donation, a Salvation Army kettle will be available as well. Drop your unwrapped toy off today at Ronaldo Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. And when you buy a new vehicle at Ronaldo Auto Mall through Christmas, you'll get a free Broad River ham from Morris Supermarket. Ronaldo Auto Mall, right below the Cleveland Mall.
Isolated and alone?
That's how millions of Americans feel while experiencing a mental health crisis.
Need to talk? Our providers love to listen.
Call us now at 1-888-235-HOPE.
That's 1-888-235-4673.
Partners, improving lives and strengthening communities in North Carolina. 1-888-235-HOPE. 235-4673.
The moment is in the air, and here we go. You can hear replays of it tonight or tomorrow morning.
Angles to the right at the 15.
You can relive it in your mind over and over.
20 a stiff arm there.
The moment can last a lifetime.
Far sideline, he's into pit territory.
But the moment really only happens once.
25-20 takes it to the house.
Live in the moment right here on the Tar Heels Sports Network. Powered by Learfield.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink Jet and Toner specializes in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located on 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Don't miss the Golf Shop Radio Show broadcast every Wednesday morning from 11 to 12. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
When you need service on your automobile, do what I do and what most people around this area do. They take it to Rick's Automotive in Cherryville. They do it all at Rick's Automotive in Cherryville. Rick Walker and his staff is dedicated at providing you the best in automotive care, from an oil change to a tune-up to a full set of tires. Be sure to check out their tire specials before you buy. That's Rick's Automotive, 1001 East Main Street in Cherryville. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30. Just call 704-435-3801 for Rick's Automotive in Cherryville.
Yeah. And good morning. Campers in, Saturday Sports Talk. Hunter Yancey's in the house. Terry Reinhardt's in the house.
We lost Carson again. He made his guest appearance.
Made his guest appearance.
And said, I'm going back and getting in bed.
JP's back watching Batman.
I have no idea.
I love it. It's anyway, NFL time, NFL action. Let's go over some of the standings real quick. You guys want to look, let's do some quick predictions on what we think coming up forward. If the season ended today, let's play this game. This is how the playoffs are going to look in the AFC. Baltimore visits New England. If the season ended today, 5-5 Baltimore. They're actually in a tie with 5 other teams. We have a 5-way tie for the sixth and final wild card spot in the AFC between Baltimore, Cincinnati, Miami. The Colts are on a streak.
Yes,
and Tennessee
they are.
Titans. Looking at the teams, though, the Titans have the best strength of victory at over 500. Colts are beating teams that have a strength of victory of 37 win percentage.
Well, this is what is
Baltimore
intriguing.
gets in.
I don't know.
Right now, Baltimore's in.
Right now, yes.
Going to New England.
But I will say this. I looked at strength of schedule a few days ago because they were talking about how the Colts are surging right now. The Colts have the weakest remaining schedule that they could. And Andrew Luck, they have him already with. I know he's not going to win it, but they have him in MVP discussion. 7 straight games with 3+ touchdowns, and hasn't been sacked in his last 5.
Thank you. I was going to ask if that streak was still going.
Yeah, it's still going, and Indianapolis. And see, what's intriguing to me is everybody wrote Indianapolis off the beginning of the season.
I've already kicked him out of my power poll.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And there's a good chance that they can win out.
Who has Indianapolis played?
What does it matter? It's all about where you finish.
They've got the lowest strength of victory in the AFC besides the Chargers. So they're playing
in college football. It's just about if you win.
They've got the weakest opponents that they've beaten in it. Now, strength of schedule, Terry, looking at it. In the AFC, they do have the weakest strength of schedule. So the Colts and Chargers have the weakest strength of schedule and victory. Give you an idea. So let's not worry about that for a minute, guys. Ravens at Patriots. Can the Ravens pull that off?
No.
All right.
Lamar
Chargers.
Jackson's at the Reigns.
Chargers in Houston.
Chargers.
Yeah, I'll take the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers.
Terry?
I know they just got beat by Denver, but they're better than that.
I'm going to take Houston. If they're playing at Houston will beat them.
All right. So in the AFC, I mean, the Chiefs and Steelers will have the byes right now if that started today. Now, the NFC got all switched up this week. We had 2 games since our last show Saturday for some of these teams, and it has just absolutely flipped itself upside down. He's waiting on Hunter to start singing. Hunter's lost the words to his favorite song.
What am I singing?
Terry, that's a pentagram.
Everybody wants to have a star.
Terry, that's a pentagram.
Oh, jeez.
Draw a circle around it, Terry, and light some candles. What else?
We're going to have to turn this off. We're going to have to take care of Terry. We're going to have to exorcist.
If the playoffs begin today, Washington is out now.
I know.
The Vikings are in the 6th spot. Panthers in the 5. Cowboys in the 4. And the Bears in the 3, and just in all 4, whoever makes those 4 spots, you have no chance of winning in the second round game. I'm just going to let you know that.
Yeah.
So you're all playing for 1 victory here in the first round, because the Saints and Rams are 1 and 2. Saints in first, Rams in second, both 10-1. So if that set up today, we'd have Vikings at Bears.
We've already seen what's happened. I'm taking Chicago again because Trubisky. I think he's a different.
They can win with Chase Daniel.
Yeah,
that impressed me as much as anything.
Now, for the past few weeks, we've been breaking down the Panthers rematch with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since Dallas is in first,
Panthers rematch.
Now
with
it's
Dallas.
the Panthers rematch of Dallas to open the season 16-8. Now, if you're gonna, I'm gonna read some of these teams here, kind of in the same house: Dallas, Carolina, Washington, and Seattle, all concentrating on the run, all concentrating on the defense. They all play each other here in the next this season, so it's all going to be jumbled up. Seattle and Carolina play this weekend. I'm expecting a 2 teams under 20 a game. Like, is that what we're going to see here? Every now and then they explode.
No, this is the Dallas Cowboys sitting right there at 4, because it would be the same. I'd say the same thing if the Washington would have won. They're the weakest team in the top 4. They're the weakest team that'll probably make the playoffs. They are just offensively.
The NFC East is probably the worst division.
Yeah, I mean the NFC East is the worst division. I'll admit it, and I can't. Yes, Dallas won against Washington. You beat a team that's down to their 2nd string quarterback. They're missing 2 starting offensive linemen, and guess what? We had more injuries in that game. So, and you only beat us by 8. So, but I'll say this, Terry. Your offense does not match up with any other of the NFC teams.
No, we can't match up, but our defense matches up with anybody. Our defense is one of the best in the NFL.
It is one of the best in the NFL.
And that's without Sean Lee even being on the field.
I don't think Sean Lee plays again this whole season.
What's the best offense that Dallas has played, Terry, this year?
The best offense?
Mm-hmm.
Falcons.
Yeah, but more than likely we held them to 19.
And that's their.
And that was a field goal win.
And the Falcons, I mean, Falcons are the Falcons. They're not somebody. They're not a team.
The Falcons have not been the same since they switched offensive coordinators from Kyle Shanahan to Sarkisian.
Here's the thing that I always look at.
Yeah,
and this is me. If Dak Prescott goes down, Dallas still going to have the same offense. It's not going to matter. If Drew Brees goes down with New Orleans, they're done.
I don't know if they're necessarily done. Teddy Bridgewater can play. I don't think they throw Taysom
He's
Hill
not
in
Drew
there.
Brees.
Well,
I think Terry just gave the greatest endorsement of Tony Romo he's ever given, and
Well,
nobody even
that's
knew
what
what
I'm
he just
saying.
said.
Oh, I know.
You
I'm
just
just
take him
saying.
out of there, it don't matter. It ain't going to change anything.
I mean, you're still going to have the same offense. I mean, you got to have a team that can score 20 points, 21 points a game.
The most points Cowboys have given up this year is to the Titans. The worst, the worst offense they played, and they give up 28 to them. So Cowboys haven't given up 30 this season. So
No,
defense,
I have the Cowboys defense in fantasy. I know how good they are.
Yeah.
The thing is just
we're about to
if
see
it-
this week they play the Saints.
I was about to say when it comes down
you better find out real quick.
when it
Terry.
comes down to a high-powered team. That
Next
defense
Thursday,
is good,
next
but
Thursday.
that defense is good, but you can't score with them because
New Orleans will not
is
score 30.
New Orleans is going to score 30.
They're
They're
gonna.
not going to. They're not going to score the 40 and 50 that
I was
they
about
have.
to say 42 to 20.
But they're going to score 30. They're going to score 30.
I mean, you got to understand what Dallas is going to do. If we are running the ball, Drew Brees is never getting on the field.
But this is what's so funny to me is people are saying that New Orleans' defense is so bad.
No,
they're pretty dang
Yeah,
good
they
now.
get
They're
better.
not the
They're
same
getting better.
defense they were week 1, 2, and 3. They're getting progressively better. So I'm serious. New Orleans, and I said this about the game when they were playing against Atlanta to my buddy who's an Atlanta fan. I said, you're not going to stop New Orleans, and New Orleans is going to stop you just enough for it to be a blowout.
You keep looking for the game that New Orleans. You know how you going along. You lost your first one, and then you've won 10 straight. You keep looking for the game that all of a sudden everything's not going to go your way.
Yeah. Where's this
that
ga-
would be the only thing
Where's
I'll
this
worry
game at? Is it at Jerry World?
Yeah, it's in Dallas.
What does it matter? They're on the turf.
I'm about to say it's in a dome.
It's in a dome.
It's in a dome.
Yeah.
Drew Brees in a dome, but he's even proven he can win outside the dome this year.
Are the Cowboys favorite to win the East now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I give him win the East. The Eagles are a shell of themselves. I don't know
The
what's
Eagles,
happening
listen,
in Philadelphia.
The Eagles.
They still think they can
the
win.
Eagles.
They do.
You know,
They got Cowboys in 2
they're a
weeks.
little downslide, and the fact that the Colts are playing so well, I think that tells you how important Frank Reich was.
Cowboys next 5 weeks: Saints, Eagles, Colts, Bucks, and Giants to end the season. For Saints averaging 37.8 points a game. It's 5th most through 10 games in NFL history. They're scoring on 63% of their drives.
Mm-hmm.
The highest since the NFL went to a 16-game schedule.
The craziest
in
stat
1978.
I saw before they played yesterday was that within 3 games they'd only punted like a total of 4 times.
How about in those same last 3 games, Hunter? They scored more points than the Bills have this whole season.
Yeah, well, Josh Allen comes back this
Yeah,
week.
the Rams and the Chiefs had more combined touchdowns than the Bills have scored all season.
Yeah, but Josh Allen comes back this week, and he's
Does
gonna,
he?
Yeah,
I
they
thought
say
he had-
He's been activated.
he's been
for this
activated
week.
for
I
this
thought
week.
I thought he tore his UCL.
Well, whatever he tore, he's
No,
back.
they've activated him.
They
They've-
can't put
I
anybody
thought it
else
was
out
an
there.
elbow injury. I
That's
didn't
what I'm
think it was
saying.
that- yeah,
That's
well-
your use. That is Tommy
Well, yeah, I
Johnson.
know, but I guess it wasn't as serious as they thought.
I guess. So.
I guess they just wanted to sit him out just so it.
Now, it may be- it
I mean,
also-
that's their franchise
only-
right now.
It also
so-
could be one of those injuries that the timetabe's not going to affect anything on the timetable as far as the surgery and everything goes. It's the
Yeah,
2 or
so
3
he-
weeks
Yeah,
Weeks
it
recovery.
won't make it any worse.
He could take a 2 or
Yeah.
3 week break after the season, so it could be one of
Or
those.
they could
one
just
of
not
those
play and their season's over anyway. save
That's
for
what I'm
next
saying.
year.
Why even?
But they got to see what they have. You know, he's only
They
played
can-
a few
he's a
games. He
rookie.
beat Minnesota, so
He's
I
a
mean,
rookie.
he's up and down. They
For-
just got to see what they can do with
For
him.
you college football fellas in here, looking at, let's do the old, mock draft type thing going forward. Some of these teams looking
I
for
think
quarterbacks.
it's okay to go ahead and talk.
Some of these teams going.
talk mock
yeah.
draft.
Okay,
That's
some of these teams
half
going-
the teams are already.
Well,
doing
some of these teams
Yeah.
going forward looking for quarterbacks in the draft.
Tampa
coming
Bay.
out of the draft, who's coming out of the draft is going to be quarterbacks. No matter what happens,
I
there's
feel
going to be
like-
2 or 3 in the top 10. Who's going to be?
I think the
I
first
need 2 or 3.
quarterback. I think first quarterback off the board is Will Greer to Oakland. Oakland. I think they're going to
What do they
part
do with
ways with
Derek
Derek
Carr
Carr. I think they're going to part ways with Derek
but
Carr.
I think
Now I like Derek
you got to
Carr.
get something back for him.
I
though.
like Derek
You
Carr.
can't just full on give him a buyout.
I know that they're just not just going to buy him out. You can see John Gruden obviously ain't afraid to trade somebody.
Send him to the Giants.
So you think Will Greer's going to be number 1?
I think Will Greer's the best quarterback coming out in this besides Stidham at Auburn.
I
Now,
don't even
Herbert,
think either one of them are that. They're not that impressive.
Your
I think
most
last
pocket
year.
quarterback that you got coming out to me is Finley from State.
Finley,
I mean, we always sat back this past year and we named everybody but Mayfield.
Yeah, but
and
let me
Mayfield
tell you
was the first
something.
guy picked.
Now, pocket quarterbacks are good, but they want mobility in the NFL now. And Will Greer can do it both. And I'm not just saying it because Will Greer's in the running for the Heisman. I've watched him. He's genuinely got an arm. He's really accurate. He just set some record at West Virginia this year. I didn't really pay attention to it, but I know it was talk on ESPN about it. I mean, he's a good quarterback, and he's NFL-sized ready. He's got the body. The only other quarterback that's NFL-sized ready, I just don't know how his mechanics are, and especially the offense they run, is Herbert out of Oregon. He's like 6'6".
Will Greer reminds me of Glennon, Mike Glennon that come from State.
I think I did see the Oregon guy might have been the number one rated.
Is he the number one rated?
Yeah, I think I did see that in one of the mock drafts.
Now, he is good. I could see him going over just because, I mean, his size.
So we got 9 teams. Let's talk about these 9 worst teams. Which of these teams do you think will be in the market for a quarterback? These teams all have 3 wins or less. Browns.
No.
Now remember, this is top 5 picks. What we're thinking, because if they're in this area, they'll trade up for quarterback.
They've already
if they
committed to Baker. They're not.
Bills.
No.
Giants.
Yes.
Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Yes.
Jacksonville.
Yes.
Jets.
No.
Yes.
Jets. Sam Darnold.
I don't like Sam Darnold, but I think they've committed to him.
You think they would pick another top 5 quarterback?
I even think Cleveland would be back in there again
for a quarterback in top 5. All right, I think Mitchum's is serving you alcohol in the morning. I'm gonna have to call Carol about what's in that
That's
coffee.
Not syrup they're giving you guys. No, I mean it's syrup.
It's syrup.
It's what they call that scissor.
Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
No. Look, if you just drafted a quarterback the year before, I don't think
any of those teams
Cleveland
would.
does that year after year.
Well, Terry,
yeah, but I think
that's when they don't win a single game.
Yeah, and so far they've tripled what they won last year. So
triple what they won the last 2 years.
And and they've been in every game.
I mean,
they really have.
They've won 3 times in the game the last 2 years combined.
What
other team can say that?
Like 3 times. They love overtime.
Well, what team wants to?
What other team can say that?
Look, the only other team.
San Francisco, no. Oakland,
yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so we're mixed. We had.
I don't know if John Gruden.
All right, between everybody at the table,
John Gruden wants his own team. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets his own quarterback.
Yeah,
all right. So what we got here going is
unless he just doesn't like any of these quarterbacks.
That's what I'm saying. If he falls in love with one, he get rid of him. That's the thing.
What's so funny is John Gruden fell in love with Nathan Peterman before.
So we got 3.
We got Mel Kiper. Had the famous "If Jimmy Clausen isn't a Pro Bowl quarterback, I quit."
He ain't quit yet, has he?
Yet.
So we've got 3 teams that we all picked that were looking for quarterbacks.
Believe it
Giants,
or not,
Bucks, and Jaguars. Jaguars' options are the Giants quarterback, Eli.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Or draft.
Derek Carr. Do they make the trade for Carr?
I'm telling you.
Do they make a trade for one of these younger guys?
There's so much chirping about, because John Gruden, like you said, is going to be there for so long. He wants his team. He wants his fingerprints on this team.
And they're moving to Las Vegas.
They're moving to Vegas. You want a new face. But what intrigues me, too, as well, is speaking of Kiper, if I'm not mistaken, Kiper has the Duke quarterback as his number 3 quarterback coming out.
You've got
he's a good quarterback.
You've got one of the best quarterback
He's
coaches
a good quarterback. Yeah, but now for Jacksonville, it honestly would come down to, we know our defense is really good. We don't want to go rebuild. We just need a quarterback. Yeah. We've got the running back in Fournette, but murmurs are because I just see what Shefty and all them keep saying. That the Jags came out and publicly said Jalen Ramsey is not for trade, but everybody keeps saying that they would not be surprised if Jalen Ramsey is traded from Jacksonville. So
do you not think Gruden's done this his way? I mean, really think about it. He's getting rid of people.
I don't have a single problem with anything
falling
Gruden's
down.
done.
Now think about it. You got 2 wins, 2-8. So if he comes back next year and they win 4 games, we're going the right direction. Then the next year you go to 6 or 7.
I think that's what his goal is.
The goal is also you gotta understand if you start out, he's got a 10-year deal, right?
10 years.
If you start out winning, and you're 8-8, or if you're not even winning,
you go down.
Where you drafted in the draft of every round? It's not just the first round; it's every round draft pick.
First round picks next year.
So, for example, not even just that, Hunter. What I'm trying to get at is that if you tank or whatever for a year or 2. You also are picking at the top of every round, which makes your draft better than everyone else behind you if you do it right. And not only the multiple picks, but you have to. If you're going to give a 10-year deal, that would have been honestly, if someone's going to give me a 10-year deal to come to the NFL, the first thing I'm gonna say is, look, I'm a clean house.
That's
Yeah.
Every
exactly what he's
every
been
single
doing.
person, every single thing, anything that costs money. Because when you're ready to move to Vegas, when you're ready to make that move, you want to be able to make the
And what costs
splashes.
a lot of money right now? They just gave Derek Carr a huge contract. He's trying to get out from underneath that huge Derek Carr contract. Because let's be honest,
How many
for
years
that
has he signed?
contract, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
know.
It's 4 or 5 something.
Something like, but for that contract, Carr has underperformed. He really has. After his contract season, he played crazy, and then what happened? He pulled a Joe Flacco. He's kind of went down since that huge contract.
I feel like, we talked about Oakland, New York, and Jacksonville. I feel like 2 quarterbacks from those teams will go to the 2 other teams. I feel like you don't have 3-team trades
Just like
in the
there's
NFL.
just like there's a coaching carousel,
But
there's
they
a
all cut each
quarterback
other, who knows
carousel.
You're not going to have 3-team trades in the NFL.
Or-
but that
and
would be
think
the
like
way it
this.
would work.
There's
And think-
nobody in the world gonna want Borders.
Bortles,
But that's what I'm saying.
There's not.
Shouldn't
He's still in his
Jacksonville?
rookie deal. You can buy him out for a lot cheaper. You can send Eli to Jacksonville and then send Derek. Carr to
Shouldn't
New York.
Jacksonville guys stay with me on this one?
Mhm.
If they don't get the draft pick they want at quarterback,
Mhm.
I think for fun's sake, for entertainment's sake, it gives them a
Are you
chance to
telling
score
them
some points
you're
every now and
bringing
then.
Tebow in?
No,
Oh.
Fitz magic.
It's not a bad.
He's got to go somewhere.
At least
You
bring
know,
him in
but
as a
here's the
safety
thing
net.
that people are not talking
If
about.
Jacksonville accidentally scores 20 points a game every week,
Yeah.
think about it. He might throw 4 picks, but he's going to score 20.
You're
Well,
right.
I'm
And that,
with you.
and that
I'm
defense
with
is going to
you,
hold
but he
people.
gets up 21.
That's fine. They don't care.
Not with that
That'd be
defense.
a perfect. Yeah, that'd be a perfect match.
Not with
in my
that
opinion.
defense. That
With
Jacksonville
Jacksonville?
defense. That Jacksonville
Yeah.
defense is not bad.
Yeah,
They're
that's-
not good.
They're not nearly as
But
good as
no,
they
they're
did.
not what they
You
were
gave
last
up,
year.
You gave up a top 3 pick in Dante Fowler Jr. You had no problem.
But
giving
I
was
mean,
he
think about
performing or
it.
not?
Dallas scored 40 on
maybe
him.
not for him, but
He went somewhere where they actually are using him now.
exactly.
Jacksonville is 8th in defense.
I think Jacksonville needs to make a coaching change. They need to make a quarterback change, of course. But this is someone that no one is talking about with the quarterback carousel. There's no reason Teddy Bridgewater should be a backup in this.
Where's he at right now?
He's a backup to Drew Brees.
Okay.
in New
So
Orleans.
he could be in
There's a
Jacksonville
couple
next year.
He could be in play. He's from
Yeah.
Florida. He would sell tickets. I mean,
So you got
he's
Ra-
a good quarterback, and Minnesota screwed that up just because Case Keenum had a once-in-a-lifetime run. They're like, quarterback controversy, quarterback controversy.
because he
There's
made
no,
one pass.
yeah, because he made one pass. There's no quarterback controversy.
Did
Teddy
he-
Bridgewater was the better
And the
quarterback.
pass he made, I mean, did he really make a pass,
He
or
made
did
a
it,
pass.
or did a
Diggs.
dodo close his eyes and fall down?
Yeah,
and then the Jets messed it up too because they were like, well, we had to draft Sam Darnold, but quarterback controversy. Oh, Darnold's the future. Well, Darnold's sucking it up, so of course they just ship Bridgewater off. Bridgewater's being overlooked, and I think it's going to be like a Garoppolo, how he was in New England. They say, oh, well, I mean, you're not using him. Can we have him? I mean, he can play.
I feel like he's an insurance policy because Drew Brees can't be there that much longer.
No, I know he can't be there much longer, but they use Taysom Hill more than they for everything.
They use they put him on kickoff
Everything.
returns. They put him on,
and
a lot of
he's still listed as a backup
he
quarterback.
is Joe Webb 2.0.
Okay. Okay. I mean,
not that that's a bad thing
in a
because,
dream,
like-
no, you're right. But in a dream scenario, for me, what I would like to see though with Bridgewater, because I really liked Bridgewater coming out. I think he's a very good quarterback. I think Drew Brees, if he wins the Super Bowl for him, I go out
Right
like
off.
Peyton Manning,
Right off.
into the sunset.
Right.
And if like you're saying, Bridgewater's there for the future. Boom. He can fit right into that offense. And he won't put up.
You guys
Brees.
trying to shove the good quarterbacks out the door. And they still
I
got-
am.
I want them to play till they have to drag them off of the line.
I'm
by the
100%
line-
honest. Me and
by
my
the
cousin
ankles.
both talked about this. I'm ready for the old quarterbacks to leave and
I'm
for the
not.
young guns to finally come up. I'm
I'm-
ready to see some new faces. I'm tired of the Tom Brady's. I'm really tired of Ben Roethlisberger.
You know what, though? There's a problem, though. These guys that you're wanting to shove out here continue to win.
I know. They're great.
Like, what's
We-
Brady supposed to do? Yeah, you want $25 million? Nah.
I mean, if I was Bridgewater, I would have never took the
$40
thing
million.
to be a backup to Drew Brees.
He
Because
couldn't. He didn't have
you're
any.
never,
He didn't have any
ever,
choice
ever
though.
gonna hit the
He
field.
didn't have any choice though. He was traded.
That's what I'm saying. But you know you're never ever going to hit the field, man.
Which
I
is
mean, it's
sad.
never going to happen.
Which is sad. But if you could kind of look at it the reverse, like the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers way. I mean, he's learning behind Drew Brees.
I mean,
think
that's
Drew
like
Brees
me
is a
when I
better
think of
teacher than
backup
Favre.
quarterbacks.
But
I like McCoy. I like McCoy from Washington. But if you look at his overall record, 7-19 as a starter. But he
when
is
did
a
Colt
good
McCoy ever
quarterback.
start?
You know,
That's
he's
what I'm
7
saying.
years ago.
When RG3 was
Yeah,
hurt.
he's only ever got to start when people are hurt. But people forget he won a national championship at the college level. He's a good quarterback. Some of these
No, he got
quarterbacks
there.
just
He
never
didn't
get
win.
shots.
He
They
got
really
there.
don't.
He got there. He didn't win it.
I thought they won that national
No,
championship.
that was the game when it was Texas Alabama, and on the first drive he basically got a stinger in his arm.
Oh
He didn't play the
God,
rest of the
you're
game.
right. Never mind. I had to think about it.
So,
I'm
all
lost
right, real
in
quick,
this
we're up
young
against
game.
break.
sauce.
We're up against break here on our NFL section. I want to talk real quick about some defense real quick. Baltimore's 1, Tennessee 2, Chicago 3, Dallas 4, Houston 5, Washington 6 in scoring defense. Carolina guys 20th.
Ooh.
20th they've dropped down, and Carson, you better be careful on the ooze.
No, I know.
The Rams 23rd.
Yeah, I know. That's what happens when you give up 50 plus. But you win.
The Chiefs are 28th. If you want to know about that,
Tampa Bay 32nd.
So most of the teams that are in the playoffs are in the top 15 in defense. Carolina's in at 20. The Rams are in at 23. And that's it. And Kansas City at 28, and the rest of them out of the top 15. So you need everyone else about the top 15 is in there in the playoffs right now. So, we ain't got really time to get into it. But Carolina and the Rams are two teams that most teams would say should be good defenses. Carolina's 25.2 a game. Rams 25.6. Averages is 23 in the NFL. So you guys are giving up two more than average.
I feel
on
like that Kansas City game is obviously a big outlier. So I feel like if you take that
That was ugly. That was not even worth watching.
If you take away, like, I want it to be the median. I don't want an average. I want you to take away your best and worst game and show me really what you are. That's what I want to see, because obviously.
How about this, Carson? Dallas Cowboys haven't given up 30 once this year. The Rams have given up 30. The Rams have given up 35 times.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. But at the same time, what offenses have the Cowboys played? If the best one that you played is the Falcons, which is a team that they can be really good.
Record.
Kansas City, and I'm gonna put it like this: Kansas City in the AFC will not make the Super Bowl for the simple reason they cannot stop a soul. So some defense is going to stop them. On the other side, you got two teams. You got New Orleans and you got the Rams that score tons of points. One of them's got an opportunity because you got two over there out of the 6. One of them might make it, but one of the other ones for sure had to end up playing each other. But when you're scoring that many points and you're giving up tons, and the Rams is really what bothers me, because your defense is supposed to be so good. Y'all can't stop us.
Well, real quick.
You had two defensive or was it 2 or 3 defensive scores in the Kansas City game?
Well, Mahomes said he gave up 21
All right, I don't want to talk about the Kansas City game because that was crazy.
But
these other games are really important. These other games that you gave up 32, because listen to this. You got 31 to the Seahawks twice.
Oh, yeah. Well, that Seahawks game, that's a rivalry.
You gave up 31 to the Vikings.
No, that was when the Vikings. Now they flip-flop. The Vikings defense is playing good and the offense is playing bad.
And you give up 23 on that. It's average to the Chargers. So what I'm saying is that those are teams that are going to be in the playoffs. Packers, another playoff team. You give up 20.
No, Packers are not making the playoffs.
These guys are in the contention for playoffs right now. 29-27 to them. Here's the teams that you blew out. Raiders, Cardinals, 49ers. Those are the teams that you held under 20. Everyone else,
Raiders, Cardinals.
Everyone else has scored 20.
Those are the teams that you're supposed to blow out.
Every other single team they've played, including the Broncos, has scored 20 or more. So the Rams got elite.
I have no problem
and
saying that the defense is not up to snuff, but at the same time, I feel like you have enough playmakers on defense that you'll give up points, but that defense will score you points too. They'll get you turnovers. Aaron Donald is an MVP candidate. He's obviously going to win Defensive Player of the Year. There's no argument, I feel like, there should be about that.
Mac ought to get the Defensive Player of the Year.
Terry.
Forced fumbles on top of
everything
the
everything that guy did for Chicago when he joined them has changed them totally.
I understand, but
he's got the whole defense playing.
Yeah.
But Aaron Donald is just so good.
Look, Aaron Donald is good.
Aaron Donald is the reason.
And now this is going to be the hottest take you're going to hear all day, and just bear with me.
Oh, God.
Of course, my father grew up during the era where he could see Lawrence Taylor, and he said Khalil Mack is more dominant than Lawrence Taylor.
He's got to stop.
No, because of the athletes in today's game that Khalil Mack goes against compared to what Lawrence Taylor went against in his day. Now, I'm not saying Lawrence Taylor didn't play against any Hall of Famers. I'm just saying the athleticism and the offensive linemen that there are out there today and how Khalil Mack pushes them around with the palm of one hand. He said he's the most dominant defensive player, linebacker at least he's seen.
Well, and my thing is, Aaron Donald is arguably
he's the best defensive tackle.
He's arguably the best defensive lineman for the Rams ever on a team that's had Merlin Olsen, Deacon Jones, Jack Youngblood. And you had all three, and you had who was the other one, the fearsome foursome? Terry.
Well, Deacon's the best one.
Well, Deacon, you used to be able to smack somebody in the side of the head and basically concuss him for a play.
I think they counted one time he had like 35 sacks a year, and they didn't keep up with it.
Yeah, no, he is the person that literally came up with the term sack.
Yeah,
he is the reason. I mean, if you kept records back then,
Hunter, just tell whoever. They're not everybody can be right.
No, you're right. And everybody's got different. You're right.
But whoever says Lawrence Taylor, someone's better than Lawrence Taylor, they're wrong. That's how that goes, Terry.
He was good. He was good.
This is how the defensive goes. I'm gonna let you guys know. Best defensive lineman ever is Reggie White, and I would say that not even close on that one too. The sheer power. Watch Anthony Munoz interview talk about Reggie White, or anyone talk about Reggie White. Start there on that. Linebacker is Lawrence Taylor. Outside middle linebacker, you can argue a lot, but Lawrence Taylor and I know this is a joke and not real. He cut a SUV in half, coked up with a chainsaw in a movie. I mean, it don't get no crazier than that. I don't want that guy playing defense against me. Middle linebackers, you can kind of argue Ray Lewis type stuff, Singletary and things like that. The corners, it's Dion. It's not close on that.
You got a case for Ronnie Lott.
No, he's not a corner. I was about to say he's my safety, actually, Carson.
Well,
is that Ronnie Lott at safety?
Which safety spot though? Strong.
Well, there's two. Ed Reed might have a spot. Might have the other one.
That's if
he might be the best ball hawk I've
safety,
seen.
Just a guy go play center field. It's got to be Ed Reed.
It might
because
be.
Not only is he going to go get it, but he's going to score.
Yeah, Ed Reed was just amazing at safety. That's a position I like to watch. I love to watch.
107 and 106-yard interception rate.
Darren Wilson's top 5 safety. Yeah. He wasn't the ball hawk Reed was, and he wasn't the hitter Lott was. But if you took him right between those two is what Darren Woodson was, and their defenses fell off as soon as he was gone. And I always say about the Dion things, kids, if you're coaches, if you got kids that play in corner, go watch some tape of Dion. It's not about his speed. His
but he
speed,
did run a 4.3 in Tim's.
His speed, his speed allowed him to catch up on the deep balls.
Yeah.
Everything under 40 yards was his footwork, and his footwork was ridiculous. If you're watching, what made Revis really good is Revis wasn't that fast. Revis was nowhere near as fast as Dion. Watch Revis' footwork. When the other receiver takes a step, you take a step.
He knew the routes.
So as a DB, exactly. You walk into that DB, and Dion and Chris Carter said the other day, y'all don't say nothing bad about Dion ever. And he was talking about how Dion, he knew which 4 or 5 routes I'm going to run. Mm-hmm. He took 3 of them away just how he's better than everybody else, and then he concentrated on the other 2. And so every play, I had 2 routes I could run, and he's going to take one of them away.
Yeah.
And then I could beat the other one. And Dion knew all my routes, and remember, Dion played receiver some too. Mm-hmm. And what that does, it allows you to know the steps that your quarterback likes to make. I can't describe how enough it helped me playing DB by playing quarterback, because that quarterback wants to take 3 or 4 steps if he's not there, because you can kind of relax back, change your spots, change your angles on basically what that quarterback's doing, and if you know that and where he wants to get the ball out. And Dion was really good about that. I just want to get into that, and I'm not saying none of today's players are. Aaron Donald might be on that line. Some of today's players might be, and that Khalil Mack might be there. But we always get back to this in basketball, especially talk about forgetting about these players. We saw one the other day, and I'll just transition it before the end of the show. They printed out this. It was this thing on Twitter. I don't know if either one of y'all commenters saw or not. It was like it had some of the slam dunk champions. It was like rank them. Vince, Blake Griffin, Dominique, all the ones from all through the years.
Yeah. If you don't put Vince Carter first, I'm sorry.
I was going to put my response, and I didn't put it, was gold Vince, silver Vince, bronze Vince.
Yeah, yeah.
But you get kids today. Well, that was 10 to 20 years ago. Trust us.
Go Q2.
And I want to see what Terry thinks, and I know he's a David Thompson fan. I didn't see Thompson dunk in person, so I can't say about him and Dr. J. But going from that point forward, the next person behind Vince and because all these other guys are 6'10s, and I've got to take a little bit away from them. The Aaron Gordons, the Blake Griffins, and the Sean Kemps, they're all twins to me. They're all in that same group of the tall men.
They're all big.
But these guards that do these dunkings, Terry, Dominique Wilkins, And people, if you don't forget, he not only was he just a dunker, I think he's 16. He's 26,000 points. So at one point when he retired, he's like 7th all time in leading scorer, and it's backed up a little bit. He averaged 25 a game scoring, but dunking. Oh my gosh, people! You got to understand, he was a better dunker than Jordan, and people don't understand that. And Jordan beat him in one of the dunk contests, and because that was the free throw line dunk contest. So Dominique, I think he set the standards. He went from to where you took the David Thompson, Dr. J, high as you can dunk to he's the one that started throwing the power into it with him and Moses Malone. And those guys, Moses was just huge, though. But Dominique, I would put him, I'll go Vince, then I've got Dominique.
Vince. If some more
they just need to understand that. There was a couple surprises on there that I didn't really think about that I remember that really do need honorable mention. Jason Richardson. People aren't going to put him on there, but see him in person, that he could do any dunk. Yeah. Jason Richardson could do any dunk, and it wasn't as beautiful as Vince and long and crazy as that, but. Those types of things, when you got to give some of these guys credit.
Did Baron Davis take part and win one?
Baron Davis, I don't think he won one, but he did compete.
You want to talk about a dunker?
And we got into this.
There's a difference between dunk contest dunking and in-game dunking.
Yeah,
there's a big difference.
Yeah, you're right. There really is.
And that's what people will give you the argument when they do start talking about in-game dunkers is that, well, which way do you want to go about that? Do you want to make it the most effective in-game dunker or the most acrobatic? Acrobatics, probably Vince is in that too.
Yeah, I was going to say the best in-game
but the best
of both worlds is Vince.
But the Jordan fans will tell you the best in-game dunker might be him because he dunked on everyone. He tried on everyone. And the fact of the matter is he had this quick dunk. Terry, you remember the quick dunk? Mm-hmm. Like, you wouldn't even expect. Like, if he had a chance of getting a shot blocked, he would do the old – he was so fast and got there so quick, a little quick dunk. And that's what – that little quick dunk that nobody will ever talk about because he could dunk on your head so quick. You're like – because you don't even get up into your jump and he's already dunked on you. And I think he's really good at that. And you can always talk about the big man. Shaq, that was just ridiculous. What he could do. The folks that don't like that hate on my boy Dwight Howard, we'll give you an idea of David Robinson, an idea of him. Think Dwight Howard, his athleticism, how he did that. Add 3 inches in a jumper.
Yeah.
And then that's where we're at with David Robinson.
And a guy who doesn't, destroy teams, but whatever.
Hey.
Carson, let's go.
Washington is a dumpster fire right now, and believe it or not, it's not Dwight Howard's
I'm not saying.
How many teams? What's this? How many teams has Dwight Howard left and made the finals? How many teams made the finals before he got there without him? What's he ruining?
Listen,
what's he ruining?
Look at the before and after of Houston, especially.
Okay.
What about him?
What do you mean? They went to the Western Conference. They were
and lost.
They were a Chris Paul injury away.
They lost.
They were up 3-2 on the Warriors.
Howard made the finals. Howard made the finals by himself.
Lewis and Jameer Nelson.
Exactly.
And you know what happened? 4-1.
He carried a team to the finals.
And then he saw Kobe, and he was like, "Hey, that's the guy who."
The same thing happened to Allen Iverson
and LeBron the first time he made it.
Speaking of Washington last night, and I'm glad you brought them up. They were 9 out of 46. Hey guys, quit shooting the 3.
Whole team's up for trade. Come get them.
That's the strategy.
Whole team's up for trade. Come and get them.
Come and get them. Out of 46.
Wall's an alcoholic.
You say that,
but he still balls.
Who's gonna take that contract? It's gonna John Walls. It's gonna be.
40, I guarantee John Wall's not the one that moves.
$40 million at
that's what I'm saying. John Wall is a wizard. John Wall is a wizard. He might say they might say the whole.
You don't think a team like the Pelicans would take that risk?
John Wall, I think they'd be quicker to take Bradley Beal than John Wall.
Well, I know that's what they want, but that's not what you get.
I think the only way you can move John Wall is if you take a chunk out of that contract. Is if you make kind of like a baseball deal and it's like, hey guys, we'll hold on to 25% of his contract.
Can they do that in NBA? I'm not sure they can. They've got a weird cap to where.
No, they do. They have your trades basically have to equal out.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is like. How do you get that money back for John Wall?
You don't. That's why I'm saying John Wall is a wizard until this contract is up. But everybody else,
you have to trade into people like Charlotte who pay Marvin Williams and MKG $15 million.
Let me tell you something.
That's how you get that money.
This is Charlotte's best chance to go out and get Kemba a good two guard. Go get Bradley Beal. They've talked about interest in him. Go get him before LeBron nudges over there at Magic and says, "Hey." Hey, I know Klay Thompson's there next year. There's no guarantee we get him. Go get Bradley Beal for me.
Well,
Get Bradley Beal for me. Spot up shooter. Go get him for me. But can do more than spot up shoot. That's why I think Bradley Beal is better than Klay Thompson, just not on the defensive side. He's not just a spot up and shooter. He can slash as well.
Klay doesn't have to dribble.
I know he doesn't have to dribble, but
Hornets are in the 7th spot right now, right behind Boston. Magic in the 8th spot.
Just think about it. If they add Bradley Beal to the Charlotte Hornets, Kemba doesn't have to necessarily go out there and score 40 and 60 to try and win.
I would worry about what they would have to give up because I don't want them to have to give up like Miles Bridges and Malik Monk because I think that's 2 building blocks that you can keep around.
Give up Dwayne Bacon and Malik Monk. It doesn't matter. Give up both of your young guys. If you're trying to win now.
I don't think you can win.
Hunter likes his hot takes. Here's your hot take, Hunter.
Give me the hot take. Give me the hot take. If you say anything about Boston making a trade for him,
I'm gonna say it. I've got those are 2. Y'all ain't gonna like.
Give us Gordon. I mean, y'all are so deep. Y'all can afford to just give up people in Boston. Terry.
Nobody. I'm gonna put it this way.
That might make us better.
It might.
I'm gonna put it this way. 3 times in NBA history has a team had the point guard lead his team in scoring and shooting.
So it was 3 and not 2. I've been telling
3
my buddies
times.
it's 2.
3 times. Steph did it once.
Yep.
Magic did it once.
Yep.
Isaiah Thomas did it once.
That was the one I was forgetting. I said it was Magic and Steph.
Mark Aguirre actually led the other Pistons team in scoring.
Yeah.
Until they find somebody who's going to score more than Kemba, they're not going to win anything.
No, I guarantee. No, that I know that.
The difference in those point guards, Magic's 6'9". Isaiah may have been the hardest guard ever to guard that didn't shoot threes at point guard, and then Steph's the best shooting three-pointer ever.
Even Steph's the best shooter in the world.
Now, people are going to say, what about Chauncey? He was MVP. Yeah, but he didn't lead the team in scoring. Rip Hamilton led that team in scoring. But Chauncey did win the MVP, and the real MVP of that team is Rasheed Wallace.
Well, maybe it's Ben.
Ben Wallace?
No, not even close.
Man.
I will never. Him and Draymond are in the same category. I'm not putting anyone who can't score 10 points a game as a. You're not an all-star if you can't score 10 points a game. And you definitely should.
Terry loves him some Draymond.
10 points a game, Terry. Get that crap out. Draymond averages 7, and he's got the audacity to say a word to the number 4 all-time leading scorer in NBA
All I
history.
gotta
They need to trade Draymond so quick it ain't even fun. I trade him to Washington.
I agree. Now here's the question.
Now listen to me. All I gotta say when y'all say that is what happened when Draymond was executed for a game.
Executed.
There you
Evicted,
go.
yeah.
They lost 3 straight because there was turmoil there until he gets back out on the
they blew a 3-1 lead.
Because he said something to
Kevin, then here's this.
Didn't Steph set out a game and he just wrecked his car? And
well, Kevin, here's your question then. Okay, well then, like Carson said, what do you give up if you're the Hornets and you want to go after a player like Bradley Beal?
You don't got anything because you screwed up every draft pick you've ever had.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't. You finally got young talent. You don't want to give it away.
You've got to find somebody that's willing to give something on the cheap. It just depends if you know, a lot of these deals do get made for like Jimmy Butler gets traded for nothing or somebody else gets traded.
Especially you've got Kupchak, a guy who's been able to move really bad.
I like Kupchak. He's got experience in doing this.
And he's
like
to say, he moved Dwight Howard. He's moved a lot of real big inflated contracts, and he's figured out a way to do it. So if anybody's going to do it, I think it's Kupchak.
I was going to say, he's probably going to try and find a way to move Batum. Or else that's just hanging
in
right
the history
there.
of the Charlotte Hornets. The all-time single season field goal percentage leader, Dwight Howard.
I like Dwight.
Just want to let you know.
You know, a lot of that, high percentage shooting included those real ugly 18-footers too.
All right, Carson. We talk about this a lot. Kemba shoots 15 to 20 shots a game. I would rather the 7-footer be shooting those 2-pointers than the 6-foot guy be shooting layups. I would rather Dwight Howard be dunking than Kemba going through the lane, taking 40 dribbles, throwing it off the backboard. Here's why. Dwight Howard has led his team to a finals. Kemba Walker has never won a single playoff series. Not a single one. And I like Kemba. I'm never going to say he's bad, but you can't have your point guard doing this. It's just not going to work.
I think you can. It's just you just need help. Because that's you talk about those great point guards that have led teams. They've always had help. Isaiah Thomas had a great team around him. Magic is a way better facilitator than Kemba is.
Okay, and exactly. So Kemba, if you ranked him in all-time point guards, he's not going to be in the top 10, 20, or 30 to say where he's good enough to lead his team to a championship. Those 3 guys were all-time greats, and you just said they needed help. So Kemba's not even an all-time great, and he definitely needs help. And that's what I'm saying. You can't have him out there shooting let's see the field goal.
What other choice do they have right now?
Now that's a different question. That's a team strategy. You're right.
Exactly.
But he's leading the NBA in shots taken.
He's also leading the league in points scored, isn't he?
No, James Harden. James Harden is. Harden's leading the league in scored. He's taking 1.5 more shots than Harden. People call Harden a ball hog, and them a high tempo offense. I like him, but he's good. I just don't think you can't have the point guard shooting the most. And we do got to go see what else we got. Tiger Phil. Phil won. Phil won. Anybody surprised about that? Everybody, I've been reading the golf was bad.
I mean, I think it really could have went either way. Both of them are kind of, I hate to say it, they're kind of washed up. So it was just watching two old men.
They won $9 million.
Yeah, you're right.
Can you really be washed up?
Did I watch it? No. But
what if they would have like mixed in some type of gambling format where people on TV you could do like automatic gambling on each hole. Or
yeah, I was gonna say just bet on who wins the hole, who throws their back out.
That's where TV's going. That's where TV's going. CBS is going to have prop bets during
How in the world do you think these two guys went out there and played, and one of them said, "I tell you what, man, we're going to win $9 million. Let's split it."
I know,
who
right?
cares?
That's what I know, but whatever. Real quick, Bryce Harper, where do you think he's going?
I'd love for him to go. I'd love for him to go to Atlanta. I know Atlanta is in talks wanting him to go to Atlanta.
Carson don't want him. I want him in St. Louis.
I'd like to have him in Atlanta because I know
anybody
he
that
got
can hit a home run,
but he's not a bad outfielder either. So
he's not that great. I feel like he's a little. He's defensively. He's not as good as people. Yeah,
I think he's just lazy because he doesn't want to be in Washington. I think he's just lazy because he doesn't want to be in Washington.
I think he's just never had.
He's wanting his money.
He's never had anybody challenge.
He's a big bat, but I think Atlanta has other needs they need.
That's funny you said that, Carson. Real quick, I know I keep going over and over, but I watched the interview last night. This is crazy. Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan with Oprah Winfrey, and he was talking about the basketball contracts. This was like when Jordan had just retired or whatever, and they were talking about the basketball contracts with younger kids getting these guaranteed contracts, and he's saying. Michael was like, we didn't get paid until after we were all-stars. We didn't get any guarantees or anything until after we were all-stars, and we didn't get our money until after all that. And these kids come in this league, and they're getting $15, $20 million a year on guarantees. And he said, we tell them to shoot a jumper or practice, and they just, yeah, right. He was talking to Oprah and them about that. And that was like 15, 20 years ago almost, him and Charles talking to Oprah.
I still think that it's stupid.
The guaranteed contracts with the rookies.
They earn guaranteed contracts, but they're really not worth it.
The rookie contracts being guaranteed, I think, is probably a huge problem on that. All right, guys, final thoughts. We got to go. Next week, we have KTC. We'll have North Lincoln at Shelby, and we'll have Kings Mountain at Northwest Cabarrus with Hunter. So I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube today. We went way over time today. We didn't get started till a little bit late. There's no broadcast today with Calvin gang. It's raining and messy. I figured we'd go on a big overtime today. So everybody be careful.
I'm in no rush to be outside. So
Hunter, what was your favorite Thanksgiving dish this year? Who had the best dish at each table?
That's hard, man, because I had 2 Thanksgivings, one at my aunt's and the other one at my grandmother's. It's hard to not say something that your grandma made.
She's not listening.
Okay, she's not listening. The cheesy potatoes were fantastic. I love the cheesy potatoes.
He turned on Grandma real quick.
Mine, dressing and cranberry.
Carson, you want to stab your grandmother in the back? Well,
I'm not going to stab my grandmother in the back.
Hunter just threw his off the roof.
I am going to give myself all the credit in the world because I made some really good macaroni and cheese.
Oh, get out of here. Kraft doesn't count.
It's not Kraft, man.
Actually, people talk about that. People talk about that and make that for Thanksgiving. If you would just take a big giant family pack of Velveeta shells and cheese.
God.
Are you trying to plug Velveeta right
I'm
now
just
for
saying,
a sponsorship?
If you did that would make everybody happy.
No,
there's nothing wrong with Velveeta shells.
Oh man,
I was in there shredding cheese.
But I do like any
crumbs.
I'll be honest. I'll eat any kind of macaroni.
I'll be honest. I'm probably gonna walk to my grandmother's house today and eat some more of those leftovers.
My favorite,
have it for days.
My favorite holiday dish is the deviled eggs. Terry.
I like deviled eggs, but I had one. No offense, whoever made them, had too much vinegar. It's a straight bite.
There's a fine line between really, really good and really bad in deviled eggs. All right, we got to go. JP, your favorite Thanksgiving meal?
Personally, I gotta go with mac and cheese.
All right.
But
all right,
my mom's deviled eggs are better than anybody else's.
I'll fight you for that. My mama's better than your mama's deviled eggs.
But
my daddy kick your daddy's butt.
But also, I gotta say this: it has to be a certain mac and cheese, though. Has to be a certain. It has to be my grandmother's. Rather than that, it don't work.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
Okay,
That's fair.
all right.
Dukes or Hellmans?
Dukes.
Dukes or Hellmans?
Hellman's all the way, baby.
Dukes or Hellmans?
Dukes.
Dukes.
Hellman's all the way because I will not say the word Dukes spelled that way. Dooks. All right,
That's the way to go.
Speaking of that, all right, real quick, dude, gotta go. If you have the greatest recruiting class and team in the history of college basketball, Terry, and you lose, should you be fired?
No. Give yourself another chance.
I had a lot of people say they'd go undefeated. I said, there's no way they play in the ACC.
I knew
That's
there was
it.
no
They should
way.
fire the coach.
They're gonna get. They're
Fire
gonna
the
have
coach.
Probably 5 to 6 losses.
I
Hey,
agree.
that's okay. Off with his fedora.
That was my final word. Fire Larry. Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. KDCBroadcasting.com.
Who says it's quitting time? I said it's quitting time. I was the foreman. I was the one says when it's quitting time at Tara. Quitting time! Quitting time!
Join us for the Abernathy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram live broadcast of this year's Lincoln Christmas Parade. Our live broadcast will begin at 3:30 with the parade.